Hello, hello. I might be able to be heard, I don't know. Uh, we're gonna get started in just a second. I gotta post on social media. I don't know why I called it social media. This seems weird. Twitter or X, as some people apparently call it, which sounds like a porn app. It really does. Okay, let's grab the link. What's up, Fabian? What's up? What's up, Jello? Okay, let me copy the link. You guys can't see any of this, but don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. Okay. Then let's grab that link. Let's grab that. There we go. And then I can close everything I don't want, which is basically every tab. Check that. Let's keep that up. Let's keep my OBS up, because presumably it might explode again. Kind of quiet audio. Oh, the desktop audio? Yeah. That's true. Let's see. I think I'll boost that through the actual game itself. Although historically I like the music to be louder, but it's... We'll see how that... Yoink! See how that... Because I think my voice should be loud enough, based on the audio levels I'm saying, but... I have my Burger King helm on. Got my executioner set. Good to go. Let's put the HUD back on. Which I am level 51, so I'm kind of... I'd argue I'm pretty early on for the DLC. As far as the level. Nope, not that. But it could be fun to get raw dogged in the DLC. Yeah, I think the desktop audio is too loud. No. I'll turn it back down in game. I think it's just because the Hunter's Dream is kind of quiet. I should have just upped the music probably. Well, we'll see how this is. Let's see how Cathedral Ward is. Yeah, these stairs are a really strange issue I'm having. It's a minor one, because who cares, but you'll notice that the baked shadows are properly removed here. So you can see, of course, the player shadow, but these stairs, they are not. And unfortunately, they just don't work when you try to remove them. I've only come across a handful of surfaces that are like this, where you try to go into the light map itself and actually do what you do to all the other light maps to get rid of the baked shadows, and it just doesn't work. So I don't really know why. Yes, let's go get captured. I think. Oh, okay, do I have to be over here? Yeah, there's the hand. Yoink.
Cursed Taphims, their children too. And their children forever true.
Yep. We still don't know who that lady is, right? Who's monologuing there. We don't really know who that is, right? Is it 60 FPS? It is not. I don't stream in 60 FPS. Well, I mean, I stream at 60 FPS, but the game itself is not running at 60 because realistically, I'm already asking my computer to do enough, and so I don't stream at 60. Also, I don't tend to actually play the game at 60, personally, just because I can't maintain it, especially with my mod as well. I can't really maintain the steady 60, and also the input latency is worse using the 60 FPS patch by default. And of course, you counteract that by having it run at 60 FPS, you know, right? But yeah, the frame capping method for the 60 FPS patch is different, and it causes more input latency. So I've actually never liked how Bloodborne feels at 60 FPS, because it just doesn't feel... Basically, for me to like it at 60 FPS, I would need it to have the 60 FPS frame cap from DS3, or any of FromSoft's PC ports. But the frame capping method that they're using is a sort of like Sony platform 60 FPS frame cap, but it's not like a specific one made by FromSoft, if that makes sense. I know that's confusing, but long answer. Is my 1050 Ti graphics card run this? Ooh, yeah, I assume maybe in some way, but to be honest, I don't know. You'd have to talk more so to the Shad PS4 like Discord. I'm not as good at really... Oh, actually, hold on. I gotta log out of the game real quick. I forgot I still have the stealth patch turned on. So enemies can't attack me. I use that for modding, obviously. It's just a lot easier. Let me turn that off. Oops. Yes, okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, 1050 Ti. I mean, you might be aiming for like 720p, 30 FPS. Maybe 900p, I don't know. Depends. It's worth a shot, though. Oh, can you share your modding Discord? Oh, I don't have one. Well, I mean, I technically have one. I just abandoned it, like, ages ago. Because I don't really like Discord. I don't like Discord from the... it's going to sound really stupid, but I just don't like it because if I have my own Discord, which I do, but once again, I abandoned it well over a year ago. Basically, I would be the center of attention. And I hate that. Like, I don't think there's many things in this world I hate more than being the center of attention. I don't like being the reason that people join the server. Oh, okay, you have a little follow-up. I don't know. To me, that just sucks. And that's the feeling I got from it. Basically, is just you knew that people had joined because of you, and I don't know, like it almost felt like they were hanging out in there so that they could hang out with you, and I just didn't like that idea. I don't know. I know that might sound weird to some people from the outside looking in, like, why wouldn't you love that? And I go, yeah, that's me. I don't know. I don't love that idea. But there is the server name Discord. That's a Souls modding Discord. I mean, it's the most well-known one for sure. Also for specifically like Bloodborne related, like for emulating Bloodborne, obviously there's the Shad PS4 Discord, which I would recommend. If you have any issues with emulating it, they're vastly better at answering that kind of stuff than I am. I suck at that. I don't know anything as far as like tips and tricks of that, you know. Oh yeah, see this thing still has this surface here still has an issue where it's colored differently. It's not like a baked shadow issue. I don't know. Okay, guys. Ow. Ooh, ow. Ooh, okay, you guys hit harder than I remember. Oh my god. You don't like fire though. Yeah, there you go. Never mind, I just found this and had to join to talk Dark Souls with fellow players. Hi, how do I use firearms on my PC? Do you mean shoot your PC? I've certainly thought about it as my PC, if it ever annoys me, I've certainly thought of shooting my PC. And unless you're talking about how to use guns in Bloodborne, I guess? I don't know. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding. Oh, what's up, guys? How's it going? Oh, good God. Okay. Okay, big dog. Big dog. Well, okay. I don't really like the 2v1, if I'm honest, guys. I think the 2v1 is an idea that I'm not super behind. Unless you mean, like, specifically on Bloodborne PC, like, it's the same to use guns as it is in PS4 version. I was really trying to get the parry. I don't know why. Really up on that parry. Got him. Okay. I was trying to bait, like, an attack that I could parry. Okay. Alright. Give me the fire guy. Give me the fire guy. Come on, fire guy. Got him. That's gonna be easy peasy. Man, we're cooking now. This is definitely the earliest I've done the DLC. Like level 51. Oof. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. I'm telling myself that. Do not be greedy. Alright, I think we still have a lot of blood vials in storage. I think we got like over 100. Oh. Oh, I forgot there's a button there. You sons of bitches. Okay. There's a guy up here. Oh, we got doggos first. Doggos first. Nice. Nice. I've installed your mods, but when I hit the home button, the ReShade menu don't open. Did you go to reshade.com and then download the executable for ReShade? And then whenever you launch that executable for ReShade, it'll ask you to point it towards an executable that should then install the ReShade. So then you find the Shad PS4 executable, which is admittedly not the easiest to find, but I thought I had this in the instructions. But really, it's just installing ReShade for any game. Is you have to go find the game, and so Shad PS4's executable is under usually your C drive, and then it's under users, your username, app data, roaming. I think it's roaming or local. It's one of those. And then the Shad PS4 QT launcher versions, and then in the versions you'll see the pre-release one, and it'll have the EXE. You click on the EXE to tell ReShade, aha, that's the one I want to use. It should automatically detect it as Vulkan. It'll give you the option between DirectX 9, 10, and 11. Or actually, no, it'll be 9 and 10, 11 and 12, and then Vulkan as an option, or OpenGL, but it is Vulkan. I thought it would automatically say that it's Vulkan. It should detect that it is, but if it doesn't, just pick Vulkan. And then, in the install for ReShade, it'll ask, do you have a preset file? And luckily you do, because my mod, that is the other download, that is the preset. So you download the ReShade preset, and it's a zip file. You unzip that file, and in there is a well, it's basically just a text file. But basically you point it to that, and then it should then download all the shaders necessary that's needed for the preset, and then you launch the game again, and then the home button should be there. But yeah, I can't include ReShade with my mod itself. Like, ReShade is something you download separately. I'm presuming that is what happened. But yeah, I can't include it on my own. It must be downloaded. But I can include the preset file. But I just can't include like shaders and all that kind of stuff, because of course that stuff isn't mine. But I understand that being confusing for non-ReShade people. Just joined. Couldn't catch the answer to the previous comment asking about the state of the game. Yeah, I mean it's. Oh, I must have missed that. Yeah, it's great at the moment. Yeah, crashing is way less. I don't really crash that much anymore. I mean, last stream it crashed a couple times, like hard crashes almost, where it like hit my NVIDIA driver and was like, "You're done." But that doesn't happen when I'm not streaming. So that I think was a OBS related thing. But yeah, by default, it's fantastic. Performance is great. It's improved massively. Visually, it's the entire Bloodborne visual, visual whatever. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, I would try it again if it's been a while. You can definitely try it again because it is tremendous. There's a lot of patches. There's tons of mods. And, yeah, your 5700 XT would be fine. Easily. 12400F. Yeah. Of course, I'm not an expert on every single configuration it would run on, because of course that's going to come down to people with more knowledge than me as far as like running it on different hardware. I just run it on mine, and I don't really know much of. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh, I didn't know you can get in this little hole. Okay, I'll just hang out in here. I have a 5700X, or Ryzen 5700X. I have an RTX 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte, thank God, and 32 gigabytes of DDR4. So my PC build isn't like insane, you know. It's not like thousands of dollars worth of PC. It's pretty. I'd say it's still overall mid-range, right? Modern. Ooh, yeah, see, look at that texture for the carriage here. That's pretty low resolution. How good can this run on my 3070? I mean, really good. My 4060 Ti is doing fantastic, and your 3070 is pretty good. I just have more VRAM than you. That's the main difference there. Got him. But yeah, it's had a lot of performance increases on the emulator side. Okay, you're standing on the button, my guy. Yeah, I think also the private server owner just posted a multiplayer proof of concept. Yeah, they've been working on the multiplayer side of it. And just like online functionality, really. Because I, of course, don't really, not really like a PvP jabroni, but I think the like functionality of leaving messages and whatnot, I think that's pretty important. I think a lot of people will definitely use that part. But yeah, I think they got the Kumjin to work, which is funny. Or at least I thought I remembered them posting some video about that. Is DLSS possible? No. Well, I mean, well, obviously we don't say anything is impossible, but it's basically the way that. Yeah, I'm trying to. How do I tackle that? I mean, basically, DLSS requires motion vectors. That's the information that it requires to run. And basically, the first thing is you would need a game that natively supported temporal anti-aliasing, which Bloodborne did not. It had FXAA, which is not temporal in any nature. And then also you're running the game through Vulkan, through the emulation, so you're just talking like that's, yeah. There are people smarter than me that presumably could explain why that's not. Well, that's why we still haven't actually had DLSS ever be possible through like a ReShade framework. Because obviously through ReShade, like right now, my mod relies on a TAA implementation through ReShade. But what I'm assuming is that just doesn't have enough information for DLSS. Because then they also obviously have to plug into the DLSS DLL, and I don't know fully about that, but yeah. Basically, not really, no. But that's the same with like any emulation, it seems. PS3 games obviously running on the RPCS3 emulator, none of them have DLSS or anything like that. But luckily, DLSS isn't required, you know? But it is nice. What do you think about the... Yeah, From Software said no, which I think makes sense. I think they just, I think it's Miyazaki's baby, and he understandably doesn't want anybody to touch it. Although, of course, you know, we obviously have that interview where he talked about a PC port and how From Software, like people at FromSoft would want that. So it's clear that they do want that. It's just that Sony doesn't agree. Which, of course, the most recent news from Sony that they are actually abandoning their PC port push that they've been doing for like 5-ish years now. That certainly feeds into it, right? Because it's like, oh, okay, well they're canceling that, so even any hope of a PC port beyond that is pretty low. But I think it makes sense for FromSoft. They just now, what's really weird to me is I've said in prior streams, it doesn't really make a lot of sense that people are like, oh, well, FromSoft doesn't want anyone else to touch Bloodborne, but that means that they want to remake Bloodborne. And I'm like, okay, well, that's where you lose me, because no, you know, From Software's never. Ooh, I need to take off the baked lighting on this pile of bags. No, they just don't remaster their own stuff. They've never shown interest in that. That's just not something they do. So that's where they lose me, because I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. How does Canehurst look? Pretty good. Okay, after the Qt launcher update, my reshade is not working. Yeah, so one thing to check on that. How they used to do it which is every time you updated the Shad PS4 emulator. Because for the uninitiated, the first thing you download is the Shad PS4 QT launcher, and basically that is not the emulator itself, but it is essentially the platform that you download, the program you download, which then facilitates downloading the individual versions of Shad PS4 as they update it. It used to be that you would just download the emulator consistently, and you didn't really like update it. I mean, I guess there was the update option within it, but anyway, there's now the launcher, so you can handle like different versions of it. I'm not particularly good at explaining things today for whatever reason. But yeah, the QT launcher, what it used to do is every time you would check for like a pre-release update, it would basically clear out that folder and delete all your reshade stuff, and then just have the new exe for the emulator, the new version. And so I basically had to create a little backup of my reshade, the reshade shader folder, or the shaders folder, reshade shaders folder, and then the .ini, and basically put those in a separate folder so that way it wouldn't delete it, and then I would just copy it back over after I updated. But lately, at least with the most recent versions of the QT launcher, it no longer does that, at least for me. It basically just puts the new exe in there, and it doesn't touch your reshade. But basically, yeah, go check your versions folder where they store that and see if your reshade is still installed. I don't know if something happened there. But yeah, join definitely the Shad PS4 Discord is where I would direct anybody for those questions, because that's not my specialty, and they know better than I do, frankly. Has any game... Oh, fucking goddamn it, shit in my ass. You scared the fuck out of me, dude. Oh, okay. Oh. Okay, well, we're on a hill here. Okay. Well, I didn't get credit for that. You know, I don't really want to kill you, if I'm honest. I'm just gonna run. Okay, you need to go back to your little hovel. Ow. Ow. Oh, God. Not the fucking tick ladies. Brother, you better run back to where you came from, because your aggro range is nuts. Okay. Brother, are you fucking kidding me? Homie's still chasing me? Oh, this is chaotic as fuck, dude. Oh my god. Holy shit. Does your mod allow for remastering the... No, my mod has nothing to do with the audio. I wouldn't even know how to do that, to be honest with you. I think the audio's fine. I think the audio mixing is not great, but that... So this dude doesn't have... He doesn't have an aggro limit. I've never known that. But, like, he legitimately just has no leash. That's crazy. Does anybody know about this? I feel like nobody's talked about this, but he's like the one enemy who seemingly has no leash. That's not normal. It's kind of awesome though. Okay, this bitch is like, I don't care. I'm breaking the rules here. Okay, well, okay. Wow, he tripped. He fucking tripped. Yeah, the mix is not great. It doesn't handle multiple like things happening at once. Like, it really doesn't. And to be fair, FromSoft's been like that forever. How you fix that though? I don't know that a mod is technically capable of doing that. If I'm honest, I think that is very much hard coded into their engine, I would presume. Okay, he's acting a little strange. Oh shit! I forgot about bullets. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, he's back. I remember this guy has more health than God himself, which I've always found funny. Man, he's wily too. I need you to trip on these stairs again so you like fall down, you know? Oh my god. You really can pop off though, I'll give you that. Oh god. Okay. This is the sloppiest fight that anyone has ever done. Okay. Okay, I got stuck on it. Brother, I need you to sit here and take the fucking hits. Because this is, frankly... Okay, well now you're spamming. Okay. This is just... I mean, yeah, at a certain point this just becomes annoying. Like, okay. FromSoft, I don't know why you gave this guy like 5,000 bajillion health. I mean, I'm also early, so like my damage is not it's not amazing. I think I've done one upgrade with Bloodstone chunks. Okay, well, I'm gonna parry you, bitch. You're also behaving somewhat strangely. Damn it, I didn't mean to. Damn it, fucking shit in the taint in the ass. God damn. Now I'm parry shy. I don't. Oh, okay, well I shot over you. That's good. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. Nice, nice. Right, you know, it's slow and steady. Like that's where we're at. Okay. Well, I don't want to trade with you because you're way more powerful than I am. I'll just bait out the early attacks. Yep, yep. Quite literally the messiest fight that has ever been had. And the camera, my god. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell, this... the hopping around. Okay, there you go, bitch. Jesus fucking Christ. The game journalist approach? I don't know that that's... how is that true? I didn't have any bullets. I'm not... I mean, I could get more bullets and try to parry, but like... Hey man, I'm gonna avoid his attacks and then slash at him. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Also, don't fuck with me about transform attacks. I don't like them, alright? I don't care about transform attacks. I slash away. That's what I do. Now, what graphics API this works on? It is Vulkan. Thank God. I mean, basically their options are that or OpenGL. And obviously Vulkan is the spiritual successor to OpenGL. Dumbass? Oh, he's coming back up. Shit. Okay, fuck. Also, I find it funny when people like make fun of game journalists, or they use that as some sort of like attack of like, oh my god, games journalists. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, bud. Oh, I slipped too much. Sure. Those are like the same people that go, oh, I don't trust game journalists to review games. They don't know what true gamers know. And I'm like, okay, they're just people. They're just gamers. And well, obviously if they're reviewing games, that makes them a gamer to begin with, unless they have not touched a game prior, but... Ooh, I do have 21,000 echoes, though. I can't remember how much I need. Shout out Liza P for telling me when I can level. That was super nice. Oh, I always forget about your follow-up, big dog. Oh god, okay. Alright. You bastard. Don't you dare. Oh shit, okay, I actually dodged it exactly the wrong time. God damn it. The fucking old hunters, man. They... Oh. One day, I'm gonna remember your follow-ups. Unfortunately, it's not today. Okay, well, I'm actually close to the beginning. So I'm just gonna pick this up. Oh, you bastard. You would have shot me. How dare you. I really want weapon swinging effects on Intel CPUs. Oh, like the... Oh, the particle effects. Really? I wasn't sure that wasn't... I didn't know that wasn't working, but I was hoping they had fixed most of those issues. Alright, let me get my shit back. Okay, your days are numbered. I unlocked your gate, big dog. Okay, well, I don't know why I tried to parry your fucking gunshot. We both had the same idea. Gotcha. Come on, big dog. Oh, you shot through the fucking stairs, essentially? I don't know, bro. Man, sometimes I time that dodge so badly. That's crazy. Boom! Give me that shit. Okay, thank you. I knew this DLC was gonna raw dog me. Because I am level 51. I remember Googling it in years prior, and they were like, you should be at least level 69. Or like, I think on average. I was like, oh, okay. Because my first time doing a DLC was actually a New Game Plus, because I didn't know that beating Gurman would chuck you into the or a New Game Plus. I had essentially figured that they followed on Dark Souls 2, where they give you the choice. And Miyazaki and co. Did not believe in that. Now, of course, you have to remember that they were co-developed, or well, they were developed with overlapping time periods. So obviously, they didn't know at that point that that may have been a huge feature that people would have cared about, I guess. I don't know. And so they just didn't do it for Bloodborne. But of course, past that, FromSoft learned that we like that. We are a big fan of not being shoved into New Game Plus after the final boss. So of course, DS3 fixed that. Like, what a view. What a fucking view. Admittedly, my depth of field's a little too strong for this. This is admittedly the benefit of leaving on the built-in depth of field, which also has huge disadvantages for... I think the way the depth of field works is pretty bad. I don't think it has a nice cutoff at all. I think it looks quite ugly. But the benefit to the FromSoft depth of... Oh. Okay, well, I didn't expect instant death. I usually can tank some of that. Yeah, the benefit of the built-in depth of field is that it can be configured per level, and it is. And of course, the reshade depth of field is very much not. It's a one... You set it up for one type of setup, and that's it. That's the downside of reshade, right? That's why reshade is generally best for across-the-board changes, because that's, you know, like, for instance, ambient occlusion is a really good thing for reshade generally, because it can apply to all of the different situations. Later, nerd. Alright, we're just gonna run. That gun portion has fucked me up in the past, so that doesn't surprise me. The ball to fall down. Oh, you almost got it. Oh, shoot. Okay. I do have a gun, but I can't free aim. If I could free aim, I would just shoot your fucking turrets, but... Definitely not used to the, like, instant death. That was interesting. Like... Okay, got stuck on that. Ow! Oh my... Okay. Oh, fucking... Got it. Okay, I was having some frame rate drops. The DLC is admittedly heavier than the rest of the game. At least for me. Don't you dare. Oh god. Oh, the frame rate drops are hitting at a terrible moment. Oh, good god. Oh god. I am asking my computer to do a lot. Why don't you use upscaled textures and running Bloodborne and streaming at the same time? Yeah. Oh god. Oh, let's slow down. I blame you, Windows. I'm assuming you're doing something in the background. Oh shit, okay, that was close. Oh, yeah, what is happening? Yeah, I think Windows is clearly doing something in the background. Oh, I have the shortcut, didn't I? Or no, did I ever open that? I did open that. Oh, what am I doing? I took the long route. Fuck. Okay, well, duly noted. I forgot about that other shortcut. I tend to not use that one. I think it's that I usually just get to the DLC easy enough that I don't end up having to go through that door very often. Bastard. I still find it funny you can't walk on this. Very much seems like you would be able to walk up that, but that is not the case. Yoink. Yeah, what is happening? Oh, let me make sure I don't have anything like running in the background, because god damn it. Jesus Christ. Okay, Windows Security says actions recommended. Well, I would imagine they do. Yeah, I don't have any other window open. Huh. Ever tried gaming on Linux? I mean, I had in years prior. Unfortunately, it was basically trading freedom for like lower performance, and also the amount of like tweaks and things you'd have to make the games run like they could on Windows already. For me, it just was never worth the trade-off, specifically because the drivers were usually pretty not great, because there of course was the proprietary ones, and then there was the open source graphics drivers, which had a lot of downsides and lower performance, and then the proprietary drivers had their own issues, and didn't work terribly well. I think I'm gonna launch the game again, because yeah, it's running like butt currently. Yeah, this isn't like shader comp. This is like, it's running like ass. I just generally, yeah, luckily now that was pre like Steam OS, but I wish, yeah, if they had like a Steam OS version that could work on all configurations. Of course, right now it only works on very specific like handheld specs. Yeah, exactly. Proton helps a lot, which admittedly is a translation layer. So even with that, like, you're not going to go to that. Although there have been, I guess, actually experiences of Proton. Like, it runs quite well. But the larger issue for me isn't even gaming anymore. It's that I have programs that I still use on Windows that just simply do not, either are not on Linux or it's a bitch. I think the funniest story for me is still the like 3 years ago. I was thinking of making the switch to Linux. And so, of course, I was looking at all the distributions, which, of course, my dad is a computer programmer. He's been a Linux head for, I mean, Unix essentially on the background. Then there's Linux, BSD, OpenBSD, and then I believe it's Mac OS actually underlying the core, the kernel, or not the kernel, I should say, but the core like underlying portion of Mac OS X is actually OpenBSD as the origin point at some point. But no, it was interesting because I was like, you know what, let me try this again because I've done it many times over the years. And I was like, you know what, let me just go with the safest, most basic bitch distribution of Linux, which is Ubuntu. I think most would agree. Is the most consumer friendly, basic bitch distro of Linux, right? And I went for the long-term support one. I didn't go for any of the newer ones or whatever. Just really the most long-term standard, long-term support, basic bitch version, right? And one thing that was really interesting is, you know, you do Google Chrome. It's actually Canary because it's or Chromium. It's Chromium, since that's the actual like open source underlying basis for Chrome. And it didn't have hardware video decoding. My videos were playing like dog shit. And I was like, okay, I have my drivers installed correctly. I have double checked that, triple checked that. And they were like, oh, I had to Google it, of course, and I looked on the forums. And they were like, yeah, so about that, you need a very specific Chromium version that then you go into the experimental flags and then and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we're in the modern era. In what way do I have to do this bullshit to get hardware video decoding? Like, I don't know. That to me struck me as odd. So hopefully that's fixed. Yeah, I've heard really good things about Bazite. Yeah, it's not SteamOS, but it's like, but yeah, the problem there is that the variety of programs that I use are very much all based. A lot of them are based on like Visual Studio, like using the map editor, Smithbox. Is there a Linux version of that? DaVinci Resolve. Is there a good Linux version of that? Blender. I assume there's obviously a very good Linux version of that, with it being how it is. Okay, seems to be running better. But that's the issue, is that I have a lot of programs. And then Fiverr Editor, the program I use to open FromSoft models. All of those are based on Microsoft executables and libraries. And I don't want to have to emulate those. I don't want any bullshit sort of wine implementation that I have to run those programs on. Like, there's just 5,000 different headaches that I get with Linux, that I just... And that's just because, obviously, Windows has been the, main platform for a long time. Well, I should say for, like, desktop usage. Obviously, Linux as a whole is the most popular in terms of servers. More servers run on Linux than Windows, obviously. Mobile phones underlying their Linux, so... Linux as an actual OS is the most popular, but just people just not knowing that it is. But as a consumer, like desktop OS, yeah, Windows is still, for me, I can't get rid of it. But man, I would love if there was ever a Steam OS that. But I mean, there's just so much that would go into that. And Valve themselves have been very open about that, of like, yeah, we know that people, yeah, maybe would like there to be a SteamOS like desktop variant that would work on all configurations. Which I guess maybe that's what Bazite is attempting to be. I would wonder what their hardware support is for the bajillion different configurations. Man, these people hit like trucks. I am not used to being here at such an earlier level. My damage is pretty decent though, so I don't think that's the problem. You prefer Windows Vista? Hell yeah. Yeah, I remember Windows Vista. I was around. XP is still probably my most like fondly remembered. Uh, well, that or Windows 7. Those are like the golden era. It's probably Windows 7. That was a good time. Oh, okay, all right, okay. Hey. And then Windows 8 was the Dark Ages. Windows 10 is kind of the next one that was really good. I've had a long running theory for many years now and this is actually held true largely when you look back. If we go back to say let's just go Windows 2000. We could go farther back, but let's go Windows 2000. Basically, Windows 2000 was good, and it was basically what if we made the Windows NT like framework a little bit more usable, but it was still rough around the edges. It wasn't great for usability always and like support. But anyway, we got Windows XP after that, and Windows XP was amazing. And then you had Windows Vista. Well, there's a downer. And then you had Windows 7. Pretty fantastic. Across the board, a wonderful experience. I mean, not always, but pretty good. Compared to Windows Vista, it cut back a lot of the things people didn't like. User-friendly. Keep it simple, stupid, you know? And then we had, guess what? Windows 8. That shit sucked. Yeah, Windows 9, they did not... there's something to do with the 9, because iPhone also skipped that. If I remember correctly, it's potentially that it has something to do with, in certain cultures, 9 is considered not great. So I don't know if they just were like, you know what? Even if that's just the Chinese audience, it makes sense to just not do that. I could be wrong. But there's got to be a reason that I've seen that multiple times where they skip 9. For Windows, I always figured it was also just that they were like, let's run away from 8 as far as possible. So let's just skip a number, because people fucking hate Windows 8. Windows 8 was actually largely fine as the actual OS. It's just that they slapped on that stupid ass start menu. That's the biggest problem. Yeah, 7 was the GOAT. I would agree. 7 is still like the benchmark for stability and user friendliness and support, and like 7 was the sweet spot. I think 10 got pretty close to that. 10 I liked. 11, once again, see, they do one good one bad one good one bad one, and I think that's because they do one safe one that works and does what people want, and then they get weird and they start adding bullshit, and then they go, ah shit, okay, we should do the fucking, let's do a nice one again. Okay, that's 10. Okay, ah shit. Like with 10, they were like, we'll never do another one. And everyone was like, oh, okay, that's cool, just keep updating it. They did that for a while, and then they came out with 11, which fucking sucked. 11, oh shit, my ass. Oh, I want this very bad. They've never explained correctly why Windows 11 exists. Yes, 2 chunks. Yeah. I know initially it was like, oh, well, that's the reason 11 exists is so that we can update certain parts of it to be more, like modern. Also, look at the dynamic shadows. It's pretty sick, right? Also, let me drink water. The long-term support distros usually have really old drivers. Well, I mean, so there I would say, obviously, I was not, with any of the distros I installed the drivers. I did not rely on whatever came with it. Like, oh yeah, I went out and I got the proprietary drivers. So I assure you, yeah, I got the most up-to-date driver. Now this was a few years ago, so presumably it's just gotten better now. I'll have to look at Bazite, but once again, like, there's too many downsides for me of like, if there's just one of my programs I can't use anymore, that's too far for me. Which I know is unfair to Linux perhaps, but like, I have to use these programs, and if we start cutting out things, to use. And it's not Linux, you know, it's not the fault of Linux. Ooh, I got to do some backface culling. I got to disable that. You can see the sunlight coming through here. Oof. Also, look at this jabroni. I'm not going to fight him. I just want to grab whatever the fuck this is. Oh, it's twin bloodstone shards? Okay, fuck you, dude. I'm not fighting you. I don't care. I don't care about you that much. Yeah, they've definitely turned 11. They've pivoted to like, oh, it's going to be the super AI fucking OS, which is stupid, you know? Generally thinking of switching to Linux after 10. Yeah, I mean, if you can, I think depending on your usage of it, I think a lot of consumers absolutely could switch to Linux for what they do. Like if they're just watching videos, presumably they fixed that to where the default browsers now have hardware video decoding. Like, I hope that's not some bullshit where you have to go. It was insane. I could not believe the lengths I had to go to enable hardware video decoding. Like I was flabbergasted because I literally was like, well, surely I have to just be wrong here, and I've done this incorrectly. No, I had the most basic fucking distro, and I had gotten the drivers. I had done all of the work, and then they said, yeah, but you actually still need a very specific variant of Chromium. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? That's crazy. That's crazy. But I also think that that's because the Linux world, which understandably because of the community being quite large, the Linux community has a split in it, where there are certain people in the Linux community who would like it to replace Windows and would like it to be the dominant desktop platform. And then you have the people in the Linux community who don't give a fuck about that, understandably. They say, I just want a great OS. I don't give a fuck if everyone uses it or not. And so the problem is you have a bit of a variance there where it's going to stay splintered to a degree where you're not going to have a Windows style effect if you truly want to be the dominant platform. But that's because, of course, there isn't just one organization running Linux. Like, it is open source, and there's the kernel, and there's like the foundation, but it's not. They're different situations, right? Yeah, I would very much like. What's up? What's up, Saiku? Psych. I was thinking, I was like, well, surely there's no way I said that wrong, but then again, there likely is. What's up? Yeah, at least in the handheld market, with SteamOS. I mean, I will say SteamOS certainly had a huge improvement on the Linux gaming scene because under the hood, that's what it's doing, right? And then improving Proton, which runs on the DXVK. And then I think also emulating DX12 is VK3D, if I'm remembering correctly. So like those elements have gotten really good where instead of trying to move people over to doing native ports of games to Vulkan, they basically are like, well, let's do the work on our side. And so game developers don't have to do that work because it was the chicken or the egg problem. If you go back to Stadia, Google Stadia, which I liked, I'm one of the few people, a lot of people talk shit about Stadia, but they never used it. I used Stadia because it actually saved me money. Where I was able to, at that time, I didn't have a good PC. I wasn't able to really play. I wanted to play Destiny, right? And so Destiny was on Stadia. And I could play in a web browser. I didn't have to buy a piece of hardware. I didn't have to buy the Google Chromecast. They let you just do it in a Chrome browser. And then, you could use your own controller. Now, technically, you were better off using the Stadia controller and then connecting it to Wi-Fi directly for really, really good latency, like unbelievable, because it connected directly to your router. But you could also use your controller, and latency was actually still quite good for that. You could just plug in your Xbox controller and use it, Easy peasy. Loaded up in like 2 seconds, and Destiny ran at a variable 1440p 60 FPS experience, and it was optimized as shit in the good sense. Um, and yeah, like that was fantastic. That was, and I know people shit on it a lot, but those were people who hadn't actually played it, or people who had, and they had gripes about the way that the system worked, and the in the way that like you had to buy games on there. And they had a fundamental misunderstanding of that essentially it was another console platform. Because they were like, well, why do I want to buy my games again? And it's like, well, yeah, but nobody says that to Xbox and PlayStation. Of course you have to buy your games again on Xbox. Of course you have to buy your games again on PlayStation. Of course you have to buy your games again on Nintendo. Right? Because they're a console platform. You can't carry your game to every separate platform. And admittedly, Google, didn't do an amazing job of explaining it. But the biggest downfall of Stadia is that it relied on developers porting their game to Vulkan, because it ran on Linux. It was actually a Linux-based cloud gaming service. That's what it actually, their servers ran on Linux. And that was tough because developers really didn't want to do that. They didn't want to put the money. We actually did get Cyberpunk on Stadia, and it actually ran really well on Stadia. And it also had less crashing than the PC version. It ran way better than the PS4, PS5, Xbox One. It ran better than them, and it was more optimized. And the image quality was actually really good. And then you had a lot of other games that were on there. They actually ported Sekiro. I don't know if it was FromSoft who did it, but someone ported Sekiro to Stadia. Now, it was 30 FPS, and that was a bit of a downside. I mean, a huge downside. There was no reason it had to be locked at 30. So whoever did the porting job, I don't know why they kept it at that. I'm also just aimlessly running around right now. Let me go buy some blood vials. I'm stalling because I know I have to fight Ludwig. And he's gonna raw dog the fuck out of me. Or maybe I one-shot him, I don't know. Yeah, so that was the biggest problem with Stadia, is that it was hard to get new games on that platform because they literally had to pay the money and the time to port it to Vulkan. And developers just didn't want to do that. They were like, well, why would I do that for a platform that doesn't have a lot of people on it? And it was the chicken or the egg problem, right? And so obviously Proton fixes that now. If Stadia had still been around by the time that SteamOS took off and this Proton compatibility layer, I have no doubt that Google would have baked that into Stadia. And that way you could have played way more games on it. Like, that would have been a game changer. But Stadia didn't make it that long. And you might be wondering, well, then what's the difference with like NVIDIA's GeForce Now, which is fantastic. The GeForce Now is really smart in the sense that they're Windows servers. So that's why those games come to that service so quickly, is because they're just running on Windows servers. Now, there's downsides to that in the sense that the latency, they've had to overcorrect in terms of hardware. NVIDIA has essentially brute forced the network latency in the sense that they run the games at such high frame rates with ridiculously powered servers, and that can minimize the latency. But Stadia actually did the hard work, where they controlled the entire tech stack, or software stack. They had specifically developed this software stack for streaming. And so the latency on Stadia is still some of the best I've ever experienced. Well, in bird law, that's the thing that people fundamentally misunderstood, is that they were like, well, I don't want to buy my games again. And I'm like, yes, I get that. But they were treating it as if Google was trying to shoot them in the head or something. And it's like, well, but they are a platform, and people need to buy the games that are on there. Like, how are they going to get developers to put games on their platform when they tell the developers, well, we can't have people buy them? We have to shove it into the subscription, which they did have some games that were included as part of their Stadia, like, subscription. which was like pseudo Game Pass, and that it did have some games that were like packed in it, and they would like have new ones that would join, but it was a console platform. Like nobody should have been like saying that to like when Xbox joined the console market back in like 2001, right? I'm assuming that was the same exact argument they used against Xbox. Is they're like, well, fuck that. I already have a PS2. Like, why do I want to? I'd have to go buy my games again. It's like, well, yeah, because it's a different platform. But yeah, like I understand because Stadia didn't have the box. I think that didn't click for people, and they're like, well, I just want my games to just be there. And that was the benefit of Stadia, is that it was cheap in the sense that you didn't have to buy a box, you didn't have to buy a computer. I mean, you had to have a computer, but all it had to do was video decoding. Pop open a Chrome tab, you can play your games. So I don't know. I'm much more fond of Stadia than most people because I played it. It allowed me to play with my brother for many hours. And I had a tremendous time. And the image quality was amazing. And the latency was amazing. And so I think, and also the Stadia team, like the actual people who worked on Stadia were delightful. They were the nicest people. Like talking to them on Twitter, like they were just lovely. The Stadia team, they just loved video games. And they had their own Twitter account, and yeah, they were cool. And I admit I was pretty salty with how they got treated. Yeah, that was one of the many examples of like dunk culture online where you had people talking about it who had never used it. Yeah, it is a Stadia glazing stream. Yeah, it'll be the only one on the internet, but that really frustrated me because it just was an example of people shitting on something that they didn't understand. And like there were a lot of issues with it, but I don't know. I hated to see people just shit on it and then go, well, I've never played it. I was like, oh, so you haven't tried it? And they go, well, no, but like they said it's the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. So I was like, well, and I was just begging people, try the free trial, man. Like, I know you think it's terrible, but pretty good. Okay, okay. Fuck you and your pebbles. So give me my 6 flasks. Or 5 flasks. Okay. Ludwig the Accursed. Oh shit, I forgot about the birds. What's the over-under on me getting my shit rocked by the Witch of Hemwick as I'm stalling and talking on one of these runbacks? Pretty high. I think she's gonna try to gut me like a fish on one of these. Hi, Serve. How are you? Pretty good. I'm still kind of waking up. I don't know. Also, I got high last night, so that's probably where that's why I'm a little hazy today. I got pretty high last night. It's pretty fun. I have a question about the Havoc files, which are used in Sekiro. Is there a tool or open source program that can read and edit them? Oh, like the Havoc collision files. The only one I know of that can edit them, and really, as far as I know, can only really edit them for Dark Souls 1, or Dark Souls Remastered currently, and Prepare to Die Edition. And maybe Demon Souls, is the Soulstruct add-on for Blender. You can basically import the collisions and then edit them. But it's not 420 yet, dude. I know, I was a little early. Alright. I honestly don't know how this is gonna go. It's been a while since I've fought him. Okay, I do have some Blue Chew. I do have, okay, I got Yusefka's Blood Vial. Fuck yeah, okay, I got a little bit. It's a little healing. I got Molotovs, but those aren't. I need to just 1v1 him. Now, this is when you know you're in a bad state, is you start looking at the armor in Bloodborne, where you're like, okay, what has the most physical damage reduction, which is a stupid thing to do in Bloodborne because it doesn't matter nearly as much as like Dark Souls. I think what's annoying to me is whenever what was always confusing about Bloodborne, like damage reduction, is that you'll see this has a higher physical defense, but it has a lower blunt and thrust. And I go, well, then what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? How do I have a higher physical defense, but blunt and thrust are both bad? Well, then what's the third option? Pierce? Or is that thrust? I don't know. It would have been sick to get Scholar of the Second Stand working with VR, but it wasn't compatible with Lighting Engine. What? How did you were getting Dark Souls 2 in general to work with VR? That's crazy. 0.99.4. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty far on. Yeah, I know I'm stalling fighting Ludwig. Don't worry about it. Let me drink my Celsius a little bit here. I'll drink some water. Yeah, what's left? That's a good question. I still have more textures to upscale. I'm doing that on a very, like, per area basis, where as I'm playing through the game and I bounce around here, I upscale some textures. Because if I just go across the board and I stick in one area for days upscaling textures, I tend to lose my mind. So I've been doing it very, like, piecemeal. So that's going to take a while. And I'm not going to upscale everything. That's kind of the process, too, is like certain things need upscaling and certain things don't. Oh, yeah, the Desert Sorcerer's Grab in VR. That'd be some crazy shit. Yeah, so textures, that's a big one. There's still some baked shadows I need to remove from certain areas that I've missed or, yeah, I've just overlooked. There's some lighting work, I think, in a couple places, but yeah, it's nearing its end. I don't have tons of like what I'm currently doing left. I'd like to look at certain boss textures because with Ludwig, you'll notice that like when they do the close-up on Ludwig, it's pretty low resolution. Like it doesn't look great. Like you can see the blurriness on his textures. So I do plan to take a peek at each of the boss textures because some of them need a little bit of help. Specifically for those close-ups, I think they don't come across terribly well. Okay, let's see how this cutscene looks. I don't think I've done much with this room really, which of course I'm not really doing much because I'm leaving the default like configurations and where the point lights are. Yeah, you'll see his hands pretty low resolution. Certain parts of this texture actually still look quite good, but there's parts of it that just really, yeah, like this close-up, you could use a little bit more resolution on some of that stuff. But it's not a huge deal. Like, by and large, it's not a big deal, but... Okay, but... Yeah, we'll see. I think I have like a +7 weapon. And I'm like level 51, so this is the lowest I've ever fought him. Oh, I need to... Hey. Ah, God damn. Let me take my Bluetooth. Okay? I'm gonna try to get some good power attacks on him. Okay. Ah, damn it. Yeah, he's a wily one. It's going to take a little bit for me to get used to fighting him again. But I like getting power attacks. That's how I fucking wrecked Amelia. That was actually a lot of fun. But I want to break some limbs. Oh, that move always gets me. Oh shit, I'm locked. Well, he's kind of raw dogging me. I'm just getting I'm getting the vibe check. I gotta get in the habit of fighting him again. Wow, he did not. I did not see that move coming. I totally thought that was a different move that I could like dodge past, and he said, "No, what if I do a Bucky Bronco in your fucking face?" Damn. Okay. Uh, yeah, that was that was a vibe check. That doesn't count. Wolfie, that doesn't count. That's not. That's a vibe check. That's a scripted death. We don't worry about that. Do you think my i5-44? Oh, yes. Oh, the B580? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be fine for the mod. I don't know about 1440p. You'll kind of have to play around with that, but I think the B580 is pretty good. I've actually been really impressed with the Intel Arc series. I was very tempted back in the day to get the 750 or A750. And then they did their Battle Mage second version, which they never did like a high-end version of the second generation yet, right? They did the B580, but they never did like an A880 and 870, right? Or 8 or A850, if I remember correctly. But it seems like they're still pushing forward with the Intel Arc series, because I loved that a new entrant, yeah, the B770, something like that, this year. Okay, I hope so, because honestly, the first generation, the A750 and A770, were phenomenal. Now driver support has gotten so much better. They've fixed most of that now. It started really rough, but the most impressive, I think, for me was the ray tracing performance. Like their RT performance on that first generation, it rivaled Nvidia and in some cases beat Nvidia at that certain point, which was phenomenal. Now, unfortunately, those two cards had pretty high power consumption. That was kind of their big negative, is that for the performance you were getting, which was good, it was consuming a lot more power than Nvidia or AMD at that point. But now their second generation, I think, is a lot better. Yeah, they don't have any like high end, which I totally understand them not targeting, because even AMD for a long time had sort of seeded the high end space. Like, and even now, I think like the 5090 doesn't really have any sort of competitors. Not that I give a fuck about the 5090. Also, I think it's so stupid that people want there to be like another graphics generation from Nvidia. I'm like, no, I think we're good for now. I know that sounds crazy, but like, we're good. You know, people don't have money for food sometimes. Like, I just don't think this is the time. The economy at the moment. Certain parts of the economy are doing well, but shit, we're getting some slowdown. There might be some sort of shader compilation on certain parts for what Ludwig is doing that's gonna stutter the game. But I do have the shader cache turned on. Dude, he always gets me with that. I suck at timing that sort of like swipe way. Oh god! Oh! God, I'm so out of I've beaten Ludwig at least, I want to say it's like 4 or 5 times now. Oh, okay, that was a good hit, that was a good hit. So, I can't say I've beaten him like a bajillion times, but oh no, not the Bucky Bronco. Once he starts doing the one-shot charge move, it's tough. Also, I'm streaming it. I've beaten Ludwig on stream, I believe. Because I remember on stream at one point I was fighting Orphan. So clearly I've done it before, but... Oh yeah, okay, it's compiling that. You can see the stutter on that. Yep, but see now it's not stuttering. Holy shit, I fucking ran into his cum blast. Man. Yeah, man, they definitely upped the boss difficulty in the DLC. As they should. Oh, I was worried about that. Yes, I got it. I like getting that little hit. Yep, there's the charge. Oh, fuck. Okay. Fucking Demon of Hatred picked up on that move. Oh god, it was compiling that again. Okay, well, store that one. Don't slow the game down every time on that. Okay, Ludwig, we're just dancing here. Okay, let me eat another blue chew. Oh, fuck. God, that's bitch ass. Oh, I didn't need to heal him. Oh, God. Oh, god damn it. Fucking super slow down. That's a little slow. I'm hoping that some of the stutter will... Will I blame the stutter on my bad gameplay? Probably. That's just gonna take a while. Ludwig is just a fun fight. I find the first phase to be... I'm probably gonna eat my words on this, but... I generally find the first phase to be more difficult. Oh, dude, that charge move is crazy. Oh, that was so close. I find his first phase to be more tricky for me. I know that's different for everybody, but I tend to find that to be the more difficult. The second phase I find a bit more predictable. And it has moves that I like. Oh god, slow down. Yes! I was fighting Orphan on stream at some point. And let me tell you, I didn't beat him, and then I gave up because I was like, on stream this is too stressful. The only problem with the GPU is its little CPU overhead. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I do know the Arc series cards love Vulkan. Like, they really fucking love Vulkan. They ride at dawn for Vulkan. But they definitely... Also, you have to have the, what do they call that? In the BIOS, you have to have the, You know what I'm saying. You have to pick up a certain, or turn on the, whatever that setting is. Oh god, okay, it's going slow. They're going to be compiling some of his moves here. Oh, it looks so fucking sick. Dude, this is just one of the greatest fights of all time. It's so cool. That move always gets me. That's the move that gets me. Oh, yeah, let me actually just... That move always gets me. He does this backup, like, cute little slice. Gets me every time. Man. At least I didn't get killed by the one-hit charge. Oh, yeah, what PC do you have? So I have a Ryzen 5700X processor. If I had the X3D, it might be a little bit better, of course, but I don't actually know how that directly input or affects, like, emulation gaming performance, because, of course, emulation is CPU dependent, but the 3D V-cache, I don't know if that would specifically be any, like, super big help there, but I hate this lady. Yeah, I see you. I fucking see you. Drop your fucking pebbles, alright? I hate your pebbles. I like fruity pebbles, but I don't like your pebbles. Oh, Ludwig's hanging out in there, I can hear it. So I have that. And then I have a 4060 Ti 16 gigabyte version. Because, of course, I was like, I don't want that 8 gigabyte version. And the 4060 Ti has done everything I want it to do. I honestly don't feel the need to... That's the thing, is that I'm really satisfied with the 4060 Ti. Like, it's been tremendous. Resizable bar, yes, rebar. That's where my brain couldn't... Yeah, you don't want to use the art cards without rebar because of the way they were designed. They don't... They take a huge hit not having that. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely got to turn on rebar. Which I do have rebar turned on for my 40 series card. Because I now... For a while there, I had a processor that didn't support it. But then once I got the 5000 series, it was fine. I can't say that I've really noticed any, because it depends on the game. If it either sometimes loses performance with rebar, but most of the time it improves performance. But weirdly, it is a bit of a... It's not like a... I wish it was just like an across the board, oh yeah, but I still have it turned on. Of course, it will become the industry standard. Oh, good. Okay, hey, Ludwig, I'm talking about rebar. Chill the fuck out. Ludwig. Okay. Oh, man, that slowdown was bad. With Ludwig, you can really get in this, like, cycle of healing, and then he hits you, and then you just can never get out of it, so I gotta make sure that... I will say the Saw Spear and Saw Cleaver, the range is quite low. That's sort of your downside. Ooh, I got a good power attack on him. He does scamper away a lot, so it can be harder to get power attacks on this game. But I am getting some good hits. I gotta remember to dodge a little bit later on that move, because I always dodge early and then I get tagged by it. So that one I'm aware of. Okay. Okay, if I'm far enough away, that won't hit me. Man, there's something about that move that I don't know if the emulator just is not storing that specific shader, but man, it's... Okay, it's a hey, decent run so far. He's doing the charge. Oh fuck, okay. How dare you give that to Demon of Hatred? I find that to be very rude, Ludwig. Yeah, wow, that move every single time is just... Raiders the frame rate. Okay, that's the small jump. Nope, that's the big jump. Oh, he got me. He fucking got my bitch ass with that. I'm bad with timing that. Usually it's because it's compiling shaders, because that's why you can tell it generally happens around a particle effect of some sort. But it should be compiling it and then it saves it, so it doesn't need to keep compiling that. But for some reason with that cum spit move, cum blast, it's kind of happening each time, so I don't know exactly what's going on. Yeah, I got fucking squashed. I've never been particularly good at that longer jump because I get nervous, which is exactly what it was designed to do. And then sometimes you initially think it's the quicker jump, and then it's, oh, I need to be killing this guy down here for blood vials. God damn it. I mean, I still have max vials, but it's always a good idea to pick up the 5 vials. Like, it extends your run back, like, a little bit, but it's totally worth it. Also, this is definitely the low. I've said this a million times, but for anyone who's joining, this is the lowest level I've done Ludwig at, I think, ever. But I can tell my damage is fine. Usually with Ludwig, I have a fully maxed out weapon, or, well, not fully maxed out, probably, no, because that would require getting the Blood Rock. And that's deep in the game. Ooh, see, that's the whenever I dodge way too early on that, he gets me. Which is brilliantly designed. This is such a fantastic fight, because it's just such a street brawl. It's a street fight. Oh, that was hitbox formed right there. Oh, fuck. I need to be better about, yeah, just attacking while I'm up there in his grundle. Even if he's hitting me, I can get that health back. I need to be maximizing the rally, which I tend to not do. That's definitely a weakness of my Bloodborne. Yes! I actually got it. Yes! That was a risky power attack, and I almost got Bucky. Oh, fuck. Okay, he had that extra little... No! See, it slows down, too, which is... Oh, fuck. Okay, don't Bunky Bronco me, please. Oh, I ran out of... I was too much in the middle there, yeah, Yep, he got me. Did you ever get into shader editing? No, not really. I basically had looked at the Dark Souls 1 shaders because Dark Souls Remastered kept in those debug ones, and so I could essentially view them. And I can read the shaders, like from an intellectual standpoint. I was generally understanding what it was doing somewhat, but I still overall like don't know that coding language. And the last time I did any actual like programming was That was a long time ago. That was Visual Basic, which is not comparable, obviously, to HLSL or HSL or HL. I think it's High Level Shader Language, yeah. So I'd have to actually do like a class on programming, specifically that language. I also did Game Maker programming back in the day. It was called GML, which was very much like Basic, but it was like a fork off of that essentially. My dad is a huge programmer. He's never done HLSL, but he's done most all the other languages essentially at this point. And he just learns new languages for fun. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm learning Ruby on Rails today," and so he's just worked as a professional programmer for decades. It was actually not his first career either. He actually got into programming like in his 40s, which that became like his career. But first, he was a respiratory therapist. But basically, my dad is who I can thank any of my computer knowledge for. He's the one who, I had a Windows 3.1. Yes, I'm that old. Laptop when I was a young kid, so we started early, very early, and so I just have been lucky that I was born into it essentially. Oh, the slow, oh fucking god damn, the slowdown's terrible. And admittedly, I'm streaming this, and I'm streaming it at 1440p, and it's modded, so like, I'm not doing myself any favors with this fight. This is, I know that obviously sounds like excuses, which it is, to be fair. Oh, fuck, Bucky Bronco. Bucky Bronco. He's Bucky Bronco on me. Oh, late dodge, which was the correct timing on that. Whew. I usually just go to the left or right, so that was an interesting, different strat there. Oh god, okay. I could see as I hit the button, I went, oh no, he's gonna hit me with that. Oh, god, that gives me, that my stomach drops every time I see him do that move. That freaks me the fuck out, dude. Oh no, that's the long one. Okay. Oh. Oh fuck! Every time he does that, my stomach fucking drops. So I'm like, he's gonna tag me on that. I just know it. Oh, you bastard! You bastard! Did you increase demon? Oh, you might be talking to someone else. I start the game with the mod. It crashes after some seconds. Really? The other thing is, do you have in the patch menu for Bloodborne in the Shad PS4, do you have the increased graphics size heap? And then do you also have in the experimental settings, in the game specific, like when you right click on Bloodborne, game specific settings, and then on the last tab experimental, yeah, that's where you have the DMIM allocation, but there's also the debug or whatever they call it. I can't think of words today. It's the dev kit mode. Now, admittedly, the dev kit and the increased graphics heap, as far as I've understood, that was mainly just for the higher resolution patches. So I don't know if, and I would assume you are also running it at a higher resolution. But yeah, I have it set at 5,000 for the DMIM allocation, for me at least. And it works fine with any of the textures I've upscaled. I don't have really that problem. Yeah, actually, this is a good test. Today was the stream, because I had someone yesterday tag me and say, oh, okay, hold on. She almost had me. My brain went, hold on. I had someone on Twitter say, oh, my game crashes in the DLC with your mod. And as you can see, that doesn't happen on my computer. Now, one thing we have to remember is that with the emulator being in the state that it's in, which is great, but still, we have to remember early. It's not like deep in development like RPCS3. You're going to have issues depending on your configuration, even if it's an NVIDIA GPU still, even if it's still an AMD GPU like mine. Like, at the moment, it's kind of a crapshoot. Is if you have crashing with my mod, I unfortunately don't really have any good advice for that, other than it doesn't crash on my computer. and I can, sometimes I would recommend the Shad PS4 Discord. You can kind of post in there, and maybe they have some ideas, but it seems like, and I guess this makes sense with it obviously being an emulator. It seems to come down more to people's processor, because I have a mutual who, Andy Cortez, who has a way better computer than I do, but he just can't run Bloodborne on PC. He just can't. It just crashes. I mean, anytime he hits somebody. For some reason, that's still the case, even though I thought that was fixed a long time ago. But I think he has I think he's got a 5090, and then he also has like whatever, I can't remember what generation Intel processor, but it's one of the newer ones. But I don't know if that's a generation that has more issues, because the Intel ones have always had more issues with Shad PS4 for some reason. Presumably, like, this is just talking out of my ass, but is it because the PS4 obviously uses an AMD processor? I don't know. I mean, that's a Jaguar core, old ass fucking processor. Does that really impact all AMD processors? I don't know, to be honest with you. It couldn't hurt. Obviously, they use the same, like Intel or x86 64. Like, those instructions were obviously are shared between the processors. It's not like they have a separate. God, I got stuck into the wrong roll there. Ooh! Actually, I'm going to turn down the sound effects because I want to hear the music more. And his fucking noise is just a lot. Not your long bullshit. Okay, so there is a bit of a sound tell there. He does make a little bit of noise before he lands. Damn, that little backslash fucking gets me. Man, you can punish really good on that move. You honestly hope he does that move a lot, right? In some runs I have it where he does that more often. Oh, I dodged early. He caught me on that one. Sometimes he does the charge when I'm healing. No? Okay, well, dodging that way, I still got tagged a little bit, but that's fine. Ooh, okay, I wasn't sure if... they are generous with that hitbox. Where they give you a little bit of room on the sides to where you think you would get hit, and then you don't. I'm noticing that. Yep, I was able to do a double dodge because I dodged so fucking early. Okay, he tagged me on that one. Yep, he's got just a little sound cue when he's about to land. That's interesting. I don't think I had ever fully noticed that. I have to activate it. Oh, the dev kit mode? Yeah, you do have to go into... That could be your problem. If you're running at a higher resolution, yeah. So go to the patch menu. That's your first thing. Make sure the increased graphics heap size is turned on. That's number one. And then right-click on Bloodborne in your Shad PS4, like, dashboard menu thing. Go to game-specific settings. Inside there is where you're going to find the experimental menu. That's where you already edited the DMIM allocation. In there is the dev kit checkbox. You have to check that. As far as I know, that's still required. Dude, this is just one of the greatest fights of all time. That's such a cold take, but man, like, come on. This is still the greatest DLC they've ever made, for me. I know a lot of people say the Shadow of the Erdtree, and I obviously respect anyone's answer on which DLC they like the most, but for me, it's Bloodborne. The Old Hunters is just... I think the Old Hunters is just phenomenal. I'm running out of room. It does take me a little bit to get used to the very different moveset of the second phase, but once I get it, oh, holy shit! I didn't know that move was gonna one-shot me. Damn. But yeah, if you activate that, I think that can. Oh, I run at 6,000 on my 5070 Ti. Nice. I kind of just arbitrarily picked 5,000. I guess I could lift that up even a little bit more. I haven't really noticed Does the Moonlight Sword have particles? Yeah, it does have a cool particle effect. It's very nice. I have it on a different character, and I actually have it leveled up. Of course, I have to defeat Ludwig here to get it. Yeah, Shadow of the Erdtree is fantastic, and I actually need to re-experience it because I played it in a rush because I didn't want to get spoiled, and that did affect, I think, my enjoyment. But I still think the takeaways I have from it are probably the same as they would be, in the sense that, do I love the scatter tree fragment system? No, not particularly. I understand why they have it, and I understand how it functions, and like, I still just overall don't love it. And then I think the bosses and the enemies, I think they hit I think they hit the logical extreme of what their camera system can handle, as far as their movement. And also, I think Promise Consort Radon, I love everything about it except for the actual fighting, unfortunately. I don't think fighting him is terribly fun, but I think the music is some of the best they've ever done. I think it's super grand, and I love the mid cutscene, switch. I love, yeah, like there's so much of it that I love, but I actually just don't like, I don't enjoy fighting him. I think the move set is just not fun for me to fight him. And that's where I would point someone to Slave Knight Gale, for instance, where I love fighting Gale. I just loved the dance between him and I. Promise Consort Radon, I think, was far too. It really, to me, at least, just boiled down to, at least the first chunk of it is basically like dodge, 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 hit, dodge, 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 hit, dodge, 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 hit. And to me, that's just not a lot of fun. It's not a lot of fun. The second phase gets more interesting with like all those big moves and but man, the music, are you kidding me? And then the spectacle and the arena and the lore and like I just love so much of it, but then I just don't like the fight. Unfortunately, I just and you can't win them all. Mesmer's probably my favorite in that DLC. Yeah, I'd probably say that. Rilana? Yeah, it's Rilana, right? Yeah, Rilana is pretty fantastic. Although Rilana didn't get a cutscene or anything, she kind of just is there, which I thought was a bit disappointing. I was like, okay, Rilana could have had a cutscene. She deserved a little bit better than that, yeah. But Mesmer, whoo, man, that lived up to that. And then they bring out the like fucking Shadows of Yharnam fucking snake thing, so sick. And the cutscene for the phase 2, fuck yeah. Yeah, Mesmer was definitely the highlight for me. But I love the level design and the story, and I even like the companion fight, where you have like all the NPCs, and if you've done the quests. And I think certain people just didn't like that fight because they were like, oh, well, I don't want to summon. And it's like, oh, well, you're supposed to. If you want to do that solo, well, then it's going to suck fucking ass. Like, but that's the point. Like, it was meant to be done with, like, you can do it without him. Oh, God, I just totally dodged at the wrong time. Oh, yeah, Horn Scent? Yeah. Midra. Man, that DLC was packed with content. That's got to be the biggest DLC they've ever done, right? Because, I mean, that... Obviously, Old Hunters, like, was originally supposed to be 2 DLCs. And they ended up merging it. I totally cheated on the Gang Squad and brought Mimic Tier. Oh, I use Mimic all the time. Yeah, to be honest, I was a Mimic user. I just was like, fuck it. It's a summon. Like, it's Elden Ring. Like... now I did go through and I've defeated the bosses without Mimic, just as a can I do it? I will say I found them a lot less fun. in terms of like the difficulty. I didn't find them nearly as fun, but I will say it was very satisfying to beat Melania without any summon or anything, except for literally. And also, Melania was tougher for me in the sense that I'm not good at multitasking. I'm not good at using items. I'm not good at using spells. I basically was like, I have my weapon, she has hers, and that's how I'm going to beat her 1v1. And it eventually happened, but it was after hundreds of deaths. Yeah, like it's a tremendous gank fight. And the music, are you kidding me? And how sad that was, and then how their bodies are still there after the fight, and like, yeah, it was so cool. I mean, hell, I got emotional during that fight. Like, that music is just, and those are like the people that I had come to kind of know during the DLC, and to have it end like that, you know, that sucked. But like in a good way. Like that was, I thought FromSoft had really, they had earned that moment for me. Dude, that little charge, man, that's crazy. He scoops me up. Ooh, that was close. Oh, I got him in the fucking... Ludwig, you gotta chill, big dog. Okay, I'm rolling too much. Oh, slow down. I don't know exactly why. Fuck. Oh, I need to hit his head there. I've been good at kind of getting that, but I'm kind of just gooching it right now. Oh, I got way too early. That's tough. Oh, he gets me. He knows that I think I can just dodge through what he's going to do there, but then he does that other move. And he just the input reading. A lot of people complain about input reading, but like, I like my bosses to be smart. Like, I know that it's annoying, but to me, I go, hey, if I were him, dude, I'd be stopping the fucking healing too. I don't know, I've never found that as... Yeah, his range is so... Ooh, and if you time the dodge perfectly there, you can still get the heal off without taking a hit. Ooh, okay, we traded. Oh, I was millimeters from getting hit there. Okay, that's when I can punish him. It's a good move. Ooh, okay, he went right into another attack. No. Fucking... Okay, yeah. There's a tiny sound cue that happens there. Yeah, sometimes there, I think it is better to just do damage to him instead of healing. Oh, I hesitated of which way to go. Yeah. My confession, I've got 200 hours on my save and I have yet to beat the game. Yeah. I could see that. Where are you at in the game? Have you just done everything else, but you've just kind of been putting off finishing the Nightmare of Memphis? Yeah, hesitation is not victory. Yeah, there I hesitated. I was like, ooh, I think I'm too far to the meh, and I couldn't decide where to go. Interesting. Or is it that you're legit stuck at a boss? Or I guess you've already answered that you've kind of just wanted to consume the world and do everything you could, but you're like, I don't know if I want it to end, which makes sense. Okay, let me get my 5 blood ones. This is now a Ludwig stream. We have about an hour and 5 minutes to beat Ludwig. I don't know, I like the 3-hour stream thing. That's a nice amount of time, and then I don't feel too tired from it. It's consistent. I've been pretty good at streaming every couple days, except for on that Friday. I think I pushed it off to Saturday, but beyond that. Oh, I meant to turn down the sound effects. Well, damn, that actually is going to make that one move a little bit harder to dodge, but I can just get used to the timing for it. Okay, I don't know why I picked up my 932, as if that was fucking anything. He's gonna do his Bucky Bronco. God damn it. Yeah, I was in his ass and he knew. Bitch. Oh, that was close. Ooh, yeah, he got me on that one. He earned that one. I wonder if I can use the stair strat against him. Okay, well he backed away, so. Well, nope, that did not work. I'm assuming the frame drops happen when you change camera direction during a Ludwig attack. I mean, honestly, it seems to be tied to the certain particle effects that happen for certain attacks. I'm not sure why it's not just caching that as per usual and not. But then again, I can't be for certain that it's a shader caching issue, but it certainly seems tied to those a little bit. No biggie. Oh, I think I can attack him through here. Yes. And I can pick up the vials from this side. Nice. I'll just do that. Yeah, I'm going through my vials quite quickly. And bought RE Requiem. Runs better on my Steam Deck than my actual PC. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the RE engine for you. Also just a really good game. It does seem like they cut a lot out of that game. Because it was delayed for like, well, internally. I think it was delayed publicly, but also like internally, apparently there had been a long period of gestation for that project. It had started development like a long time ago. It had a, I think, if I remember correctly, it had a longer development cycle than like Village did. And when they were working on Village, some team was working on Requiem already at the point, or something like that. Oh, I'm going to fucking Pound Town up in the Gooch. Although I have no stamina, so that actually didn't benefit me at all. Well, slow down. Sometimes he's nice and he lets me heal. It's very cool. Very cash money of him. That's the late dodge. So I remember that. Ooh, oh. Nope. Well, okay, I just totally got fucking tagged on that one. Okay. Alright, let me fully heal. Oh man, I could have punished that. I'm in a bad. Oh, he hasn't done that move in a while. I think that's the first time I've seen him do that move in these attempts. Sorry, I hit the mic. That he hasn't done that one yet. That's a tough one because he pecks at you really quickly and then pushes you off, and then he just fucking dives right in. Oof. Okay. Luckily my backup option is like, oh, I could level my weapon up to +9. Oh, I can get up to much higher level than I am now. Fucking level 51. Oof. Oof. Turns out this DLC, very difficult at a much lower level. Who would have known? But I do like the added challenge. I just picked up a PS5 after hearing the news about Bluepoint and Sony. Yeah. I mean, and you know, that's what Sony wants, and it also makes sense. Like, I think if I post this on Twitter, I'll get a lot of hate, but I'm also okay with that. Of like, I, on the one hand, obviously don't like the decision for them to focus back on all console exclusives, not doing PC ports, but I also understand that, like, financially, that actually makes more sense for them, because their PC ports have not really gotten them a ton of money. Their Spider-Man one, I think, did the best, but that's because it's Spider-Man. But their God of War ports, I think, did okay-ish in terms of sales numbers. It's also that it was years later, you know, and I also don't think they marketed their PC ports terribly well. And also there was a varying quality level of, like, certain ones were good, certain ones were like, eh, and then they fixed it. I think they've just had a real hit or miss where they felt like they were half in, half out, and it turns out that didn't really work well for their strategy, but they shared, like, the percentage of their revenue that was from their PC ports, and yeah, it was like 2% or something. So, is that 2% of revenue worth devaluing the we want people to buy our box? No, I actually think I understand the decision they're making. I just don't like it at all, because it doesn't benefit me at all. And it also means that a Bloodborne PC port is all the less likely because Sony just doesn't. Okay, you got me on that one. Yeah, Helldivers 2 was the most successful. And they, to be fair, they have said, or at least from the reporting we have, that they will continue to put like the live service or online related stuff on PC, because in that case it makes sense. Because you want the most players you can have for like a game that needs to be supported by a consistent player base. So for that, that makes total sense. Uh-oh, now we just have consistent slowdown. Ugh. Okay, let me exit out and relaunch. But yeah, like, I understand their decision. I don't like it, but I can't necessarily be mad at it from the business perspective, because yeah, like, that's a pretty clear like spreadsheet moment of like, oh yeah, I don't think that was worth it, unfortunately. I do think they missed out on like a massive opportunity with like Demon Souls remake. I do think that's, man, you could have put that on PC and that could have been the showpiece. You really could have like dove in on RT features if you wanted. Like, you really could have made that like the best looking PC release ever. And that would be worth something, right? And it also would have sold like hotcakes. Specifically because of Elden Ring, right? The fact that they didn't capitalize on the FromSoft IP that they own. Uh-oh. All right, crashed on that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Demon Souls Remake, weirdly, it was on the NVIDIA leak, which has proved itself to be pretty accurate. So it seems like they either had worked on part of that in some respect, but it never made its way out. There was that interesting tidbit from Lance McDonald recently, because obviously I knew that he had revealed that, because you could actually look in the files in the file system for Demon Souls Remake, that they actually had a version of it that ran on PS4, which makes perfect sense because yeah, like, that game easily could run on PS4. Hey, why are you in this bitch-ass position? I think it's because I quit out. Yeah, like, that game could easily run on PS4. 30 FPS, make your cutbacks to shadow quality, you know, LODs, resolution, make it 1080p, 900p, whatever you got to, 30 FPS. Because they're all pretty contained levels, right? Like, it's not open world. Yeah, like, and it wasn't doing any RT features, it wasn't, so easy peasy, you could get that running on PS4. But unfortunately, that never saw the light of day, which I think is a fucking shame. But then lately, he had just revealed that they had actually, now of course this is not gospel, but they had actually done a separate remaster of Demon Souls. A remaster, not a remake. But it basically never saw the light of day as well. And I find that very interesting, because there's different ways that would have gone down. I can't imagine that they were doing that remaster at the same time that they were doing the remake. Now, presumably, you're looking at the same assets, you're already in the process, but they're not a big studio. That's the thing. Bluepoint's not a big studio. They wouldn't have the manpower. I mean, of course, I don't live in that studio. I don't work at that studio, but I just can't imagine they would do 2 Demon Souls projects back to back, unless they really were going to do the remaster on PS4 and then have the remake for PS5. But that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know why you would do that. Or did they start with a remaster and then pivot to doing a remake? I don't know. Because you had the Shadow of the Colossus remake coming out in 2018, and then the Demon Souls one came out in 2020. So, like, what's the timeline? Is it prior to Shadow of the Colossus? Is that when they were doing the Demon Souls one, the remaster? And then they kind of just moved on from it and went, okay. And then later came back to do the remake. Because interestingly, for Shadow of the Colossus, they actually remastered it for PS3. And then they remade it for PS4. So there is precedent for them doing a remaster and then a remake, but we just hadn't heard about the remaster. So I don't know the timeline or anything like that, but that's interesting that there would have been a more faithful remaster out there. So I don't know. That's interesting. I found that very... I figured it was just the remake that ran on PS4, right? Like, they just had a version that did. But they totally prioritized the PS5 one because they wanted people to buy a PS5. Which, once again, I don't like, but from a business perspective, it does make sense when you're launching a new console, right? Like, obviously, you're going to want people to get the new box. And then you have a game that is still one of the greatest looking games of all time on a technical, front. Also, you have people saying just disingenuous things online about the remake. Saying that, like, oh, well, basically the remake changes everything. And it's like, well, that's just factually not true. Like, it's not. That is incorrect. It changes things visually, yes, but the level design is the same, the bosses are the same, the combat is the same largely. Apparently there's more inertia. I asked somebody, because they said, oh, well, it makes the game easier. And I said, well, how is that? And they said, oh, well, you can send things back to storage. And I was like, well, okay. But do you really think that changes the game a whole lot? Like, I don't think there's anybody who played Demon Souls, or probably one person, that was like, no, I really like that I couldn't send it back to storage. Okay. I mean, if you really think that that's going to make it a different game, I mean, I think that's dumb. And then I've seen people say that, oh, well, you can't even piece the story together anymore. It's impossible. And I'm like, bitch, Demon Souls didn't have super in-depth item descriptions for things. And you would know that had you played it. Like you're acting like you have. Because, no, just because they changed the look of the Fat Official or the look of... You think that really makes it harder to put the story together? Give me a fucking break. Give me a fucking break. The cutscene's the same. The dialogue's the same. Like, that's some of that, like, performative bullshit. Then I'm like, you're not a serious person. This... You think you know... I think people who are uninformed would get really upset about this. But for the people who've actually played Demon Souls, that's bullshit. And you should know better. Like, there's a lot of things about the remake I don't like, but lying about it helps nobody. And then celebrating the closure of a studio because you didn't like something they made, I think that's childish, yeah? Like, you gotta grow up. You gotta go outside, you gotta talk to people, you gotta... Like, that's being chronically online and losing, like, your... I don't know, like, there's a certain amount of humanity that should be present there, of, like, there are people who are losing their jobs because of that. And I think you're making, like, a moral, oh, God, that move is dumb. God, that move gets me. Oh, he's gonna do a follow-up. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. You son of a bitch. Oh, hell yeah, got him in the face. But yeah, it's also been disappointing to see people celebrating the failure of the High Guard game. And I'm just like, why? Why would I not want that game to succeed? Like, I didn't even try it, but the people who are like celebrating that it got shut down, I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, the developers don't seem like shitty people. I think that's the only time I'd like want a game to fail, is if I think developers are like shit-ass, racist, misogynist pieces of shit or something. But In this case, no, they seem like normal people, you know? And it just wasn't my kind of game, but I just don't know why we want that to fail. But once again, that's kind of that online culture shit where they just, it's that dunk culture. You gotta get your dunk out. You gotta be like, oh my god, look at this shit. They don't know what the gamers want. And I'm just like, I mean, maybe it just wasn't for you. Yeah. And then I think we need to ban like player counts on Steam because I just don't care about that anymore. I'm tired of seeing player counts. I don't give a fuck. Like, I understand from an industry perspective, the player counts obviously matter, but I just hate how that's turned into, like, we have to write an article about every time the player count goes down for a game. Like, alright, I don't need, let's not do that. I don't think we need to go that hard. Dude, he pushed me across the, actually, he made a grave mistake. Yep, okay. I now have the audio cue for that down, I think. Oh, Bucky Bronco. He's Bucky Broncoing me. Oh, shit. Okay, I got some good hits on that. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to capitalize on that. Ooh, I misread what he was doing. Damn. The devs are literal devils because they made a game I didn't find fun. Like, I know some of the criticisms I've seen of like, well, they didn't understand why people didn't like their game. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's your opinion that they didn't, you know, and maybe a lot of people would agree with that, but that's not a reason to like celebrate their closure. Like, what if you knew somebody who worked at that studio? It's all fun and games until it's somebody that you know or affects your life personally, and then you treat it very differently. And so I just think it's a lack of empathy. And I think empathy is something that is at an all-time low in our society. And I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, it could be that just empathy takes effort, and it's easier to just not have it because it requires you putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And so it's easier if you just say, well, I don't fucking care about that. It's like, well, we're going to be a way worse world if we don't have empathy for everyone else, or for some people. Certain people don't deserve my empathy. I agree with that. This has also been my soapbox stream. Don't worry about it. We're not... Oh no, I have now run out of my blood vial storage. Oh no. We might have to actually go elsewhere and just kind of level normally. Luckily, I have like all of the Arhar Ghoul. I haven't touched that. I haven't done the Nightmare of Mensis. I haven't done so many of the things. I haven't done the Nightmare Frontier. I haven't... Yeah, there's a lot I haven't done in this game. So I really... This is really just the... Like, I could eventually beat him, because obviously I've beaten him multiple times. I would like to break his stance again, but that's been a while since I've been able to do that. Man, just look at Tag. Oh, you're doing recharge now? Oh, I think his ball sack hit me. I think as he reached the other side, his ball sack like went over my body and then hit my head so hard it killed me. That's my theory. I've been playing it on PC, and I will say it runs silky smooth, 100 FPS, and looks sweet. Fuck yeah. I know there's like, aren't there like big issues once you get over a certain frame rate that the game goes, yeah, we don't like that. You know, the other reason why I don't like playing at 60 FPS is that the foliage kind of freaks out, and it moves too quickly because the vertex shaders just don't really understand 60 FPS. Like, that's just not what they were designed for. I think there's a mod that fixes the cloth physics, at least like adjust them so they work better in 60 FPS, but it's still not perfect. I've used all of those, and I don't like the way it just doesn't function correctly. Like, the way that the grass is swaying right now is how it should be. But with 60 FPS, it moves too quickly. It just updates. And, also, I'm really used to how 30 FPS looks for Bloodborne. And the input latency is super low for a 30 FPS cap. It's a tremendous, from an input latency perspective. From a frame pacing perspective, it's not as good. FromSoft has never been particularly good at frame pacing. That is just not their strength, you know? That's kind of the benefit of like Dark Souls Remastered, is that it does not suffer from that issue, because of course it's Q-Lock who did that, and they have a tremendously optimized renderer, and it runs like fucking butter. And then of course you have Demon's Souls Remake, which also does not suffer from that, because once again, it's not FromSoft's rendering engine. But at the end of the day, I absolutely defend FromSoft keeping their engine, because it's also just a set of tools that a lot of people misunderstand. That they think it's like, engines are just a set of tools, and they're designed for a certain workflow. God, I always get hit. Okay, I was kind of hoping I would stagger him. I was kind of banking on the stagger there a little bit. We're like slowing him down a little bit. Yes, that's what I was banking on. Ooh, damn! I admit, oh, I'm alive. I did not expect to live through that. That's the long one. The long one is nice though. Yes, because I have time to heal. Dude, that's the first time I've actually gotten the visceral during these attempts on him. The first time he did that, I missed it. They need to bring back the limb breaking. I think it's kind of crazy that they just never brought that back. Nice. Well done for making our dreams come true and putting Sony to shame. I appreciate it. Oh, you've been playing with... Oh, have you been playing with my mod as well? Oh, shit. I wasn't sure if you were just talking about Bloodborne, because Bloodborne itself, I think, looks amazing just when you have high resolutions and whatnot. Mods or not, you know, but that's awesome. Yeah, it's been a really fun project to work on. And I'm kind of just... I'm kind of happy to just keep working on it, you know, because it's just this nice little piecemeal bod where I can just go, ooh, that texture's now high resolution. Ooh, let me add parallax occlusion mapping to this surface. Ooh, let me go. And it's just over time, it's become a mod I'm incredibly proud of. I think in a lot of moments, I think this mod looks really, really good. And you know I'm very hesitant to... Dude, that move is so brilliant because it is designed to abuse the way I play this game. As I see that he's doing it, I hit the button to dodge, and then because he hits me, and then I panic, and then I dodge backward, and he has that move that specifically is set to hit you as you go back. Tried using ReShade, but it won't open up via shortcut key. Interesting. Did you? So I mean, presumably you went to the ReShade website, download the executable, and then when you of course launch that, it's going to ask you, what game would you like to install it for? And then you can hit browse, and then you basically point it towards the shadps4.exe, which is found in the user folder, user folder, your username, app data, either local or roaming, I can't remember, and then it's under the Shad PS4 Qt launcher, and then inside there it's in a folder called versions, and then it's under pre-release. Interesting. And then you tell it Vulkan, and then you can point it to my preset, but even without doing that, it should still show up in game under the home key. That's interesting. there has been an issue with how they used to update the emulator, where every time you would do an update, it would basically get rid of your reshade files because it would just redo the whole folder. And recently they've stopped doing that. So I used to have to copy and paste a backup of reshade every single time I'd update the emulator. Yeah, I would double check. I would double check that it's pointed to the Shad PS4 EXE that's being used, and then of course select Vulkan when it asks you which. It usually I thought it like auto picks Vulkan because it can tell from the EXE that it's Vulkan. But yeah, I wish I could just include all of it in the mod itself, but of course those shaders are not mine, and of course reshade's not mine. So. Oh, did you see how he looked very odd there for a second? Some sort of blood-related particle thing. Ooh! Okay, I dodged the second hit, though. Ooh, actually, I tagged his toe there. Luckily, I dodged so early that I was able to dodge again. Ooh, he's so quick to go into that second move that punishes you for healing. That's crazy. Yeah, go Bucky Bronco. Oh, okay. Well, now it's kind of not doing the slowdown on the come blast, so maybe it fixed that. Oh shit! Ooh, I got caught. His ball sack went over me again. Damn. Okay, I chose Vulkan and I selected the INI file. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know why. I don't know why it wouldn't launch with it. Hmm. Unless you're running the emulator with something else, I don't know what would be getting in between that. Realistically, I know on other like non-emulated things, something that can get in the way of that is using like what do they call that? I can't think of words today. Yeah, getting high last night. That's the downside. The next day you're kind of like fuzzy. I want to say Switchblade, but I know it's not that. Special K. There you go. Yeah, sometimes using Special K, you have to like set a compatibility like checkbox within Special K to then have it launch the Reshade INI or the Reshade at the same time or before or something like that, and you get them to both work. But for emulation, as far as I know, it's just choosing Vulkan and pointing it to the right EXE. Unless you, because something that I of course had happen is I have the correct emulator folder, and then I also have a separate version that's an older version. And unless somehow you have it maybe in the QT launcher, you have it set to use a different version of the emulator that's not the one you installed Reshade to. I don't know, because I do have like a separate version that was like this BB fork build that was made by the, well, not made, but it was forked off by the Diego Licks, whatever, but it's not recommended anymore because apparently he's been vibe coding some additions to it, and you can just use the regular build. You don't need any of those shader skips anymore, and it just causes more issues if anything. How he's Bucky Bronco. Ooh, I tagged his face on it. Oh, he's butt me blocking. Damn, I couldn't benefit from that. I was in the healing. I was lost in the healing sauce there. Oh, let's not do that. Let's not do that, Ludwig. Ooh. I was kind of banking on a stagger there, I'll be honest with you. Yep. I've gotten pretty good at that little tell. God damn it. I knew I timed the... Damn. He's really good at that fucking charge. You know, it's really hard to understand how different it does feel to play these games on stream. Because you are having people watch you. You do kind of second guess some of your moves because you're streaming. It's when it's just me, it is a lot easier to focus. Ooh, 7 vials. Yeah, damn. I have unfortunately expended my blood vial. Ah, damn. Okay. That's a bummer. I'll have to... I think I'll just make story progress at this point. Ludwig, I'll come back to you. I will come back to you one time, big dog. Yeah, it is tough to like talk and I mean realistically I could just shut the fuck up and do it, but I don't know, that's fun. Use your rebound 99 plus 99.4. Damage crash bug. Anytime you deal or receive damage. Yeah, that hasn't happened to me for a long time. That would be an emulator specific issue at that point, because that is something that I used to have that reoccur occasionally. And at least what fixed it for me back when that was an issue for me is I would actually log on to a different character. And for whatever reason, I basically could log onto a different character, kill enemies on that character, it'd be fine. And then I could later log back onto the original character where it happened, and then it was fine. But I haven't actually had that issue for a long time now. And I can't really tell you why. No idea. Unfortunately, there are... Ooh, Bloodstone chunk. Do I have 5 chunks? Fuck, yes I do. Hold on, guys. I'll come back to Yarhar Ghul. I have a weapon upgrade to do. Ludwig, just you wait. Yeah, unfortunately there... I don't know. Of course, one thing to try is, of course, play the game without my mod. And then see if, you know, if it never happens. Although even in that case, I still would be like, I don't... Because I don't do anything to affect the... Like, from killing enemies, my mod doesn't make any change to animations or physics or blood or... So as to why that would cause crashing, I don't really think that has anything related to my mod, other than am I stressing the emulator more than the base game, or unmodded game? Yes. But as that actually, like, how that affects things, to be honest, I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see, do I have a... I can sell some stuff. I want to upgrade my weapons. If I turn off your mod in the mod manager... Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, I have no idea. I have never used the mod manager, personally. Not that we're talking about really an issue with the mod manager, but I've never used that. I'm an old school mod installer jabroni where I just copy the files in. But in this case, I don't know why it would be crashing. Oh, Boomhammer. I'm not a strength jabroni. I don't need that. Okay, let's go upgrade that, and that should give me some pocket change for some blood vials, which is nice. But I would recommend joining the Shad PS4 Discord, and you can post there about it. And they might have some tips that I'm very much not aware of. Because I admit I don't really keep up to date on that. I'm kind of in my own bubble, and I don't really pay attention to much of that. Oh, I totally forgot to put any sort of gem into my pistol. Oops. Oops. Can I put a second one now? Nope. Shit. But I installed like you described. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, I guess like, yeah, the installation method shouldn't impact anything. Because, yeah, luckily with the mod, it's pretty easy to install. You just drag all the files to your DVD root PS4 folder, and that's it. You just overwrite. Because I had somebody in my Patreon that was like, hey, I followed the instructions and the mod just isn't installed. And I was like, well, that's just not possible. Like, if you copied it to the right folder, like, there is no, like, activation thing you have to do. Like, like, those files are just there, and the game loads those files because it is loading those files. There is no, like, it's not like Mod Engine or something where the executable has to be told where to launch those files from or substitute. Like, I'm literally just overwriting those files. And I think we got it figured out. I think they just didn't. I think they were mistaking the dynamic shadows for baked shadows, and so they just were like, "Oh, I don't think it's installed." And an easy way to tell if the mod is installed is to look at the moon in the Hunter's Dream. If it is lit up, then that means my mod is working, because I changed the moon in the Hunter's Dream to use an actual. This is going to sound goofy for those uninitiated, but by default, the moon, you might remember, the moon in the Hunter's Dream is very flat looking. It's not lit up at all by default. It's just, and maybe that was like an artistic choice, but hear me out before anyone gets the pitchforks out. What's interesting is it looks very flat. It's not lit up, and when you actually check, when I looked at the model, interestingly, the moon in the Hunter's Dream was not using an actual material setting for moons. They had actually made one that they use in the game for moons, and they are lit up. But for whatever reason, the Hunter's Dream one was not. But the further piece of evidence is if you watch the cutscene, like the ending cutscene where you turn into an infant Great One, I noticed that the moon was actually lit up in that cutscene. So there was something. So either they forgot to have the moon lit up normally when you're just in the Hunter's Dream, but in the cutscene it was lit up. So I didn't even intend this, but my change with the moon lines up with how it showed up in some of the cutscenes. So I don't know. I can't tell you why that is, but that is what I noticed when I was watching a Bloodborne playthrough recently, and they got that ending, and I went, hey, I was like, holy, because he's playing it on like PS4, so it's not modded or anything, and I noticed in that cutscene, I was like, oh shit, the moon is lit up. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like a lore related thing, but I always thought the moon looked pretty bad in Bloodborne, in the Hunter's Dream, because the moon is lit up literally everywhere else in the game. And I think the lit up moon here actually looks really good, but yeah. Let's buy some blood vials. And I should continue Yar Argul. Oh, acquire, yes. Please. Okay, actually I have to pee like a motherfucker, so. Your moon is a lot brighter than mine. Oh, that might also be, hold on. Oh, actually, no, I'm not using the... Oh, I do think the depth of field actually impacts it a little bit, so I turned the depth of field off. Yeah, if your moon is not lit up at all, like if it is just very flat with no lighting, then yeah, because my mod includes that. Like, so unless the mod manager is incorrectly not installing my mod or applying it or using those files, then it may not be installing correctly. Actually, interestingly, I adjusted the moon material setting thing to, because I actually had the moon too bright, so I actually turned it down a little bit. But yeah, it definitely appears brighter than it does in the unmodded game, where it is weirdly flat. There's no lighting on it. It's very odd. I've never understood that. But you would presume that it was a lore related reason, but I'm actually a bit unsure of that. I don't know that that's the case. So let's go back to Yarhart Ghoul, and I'm gonna drink some water. I gotta get some more water. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then I'll be back. Let me update the yes, there we go. Will I remember to take this back off? Probably not. I'm gonna try your mod again tomorrow. Oh hell yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, I don't know if the mod manager interferes with that, to be honest with you. Let me turn my depth of field back on. I like a heavy depth of field. That's also why I like doing the depth of field through ReShade, because you can just turn any of these off. Like, if somebody doesn't like depth of field, they go, boop, I don't like it. If they don't like the TAA, boop, they can replace it with whatever shader they like. They can replace... That's the beauty of ReShade, right? Is that you're never limited to exactly what the ReShade preset already does. You can kind of get funky with it. And I think that's fun. Yeah, you guys can't see the ReShade menu because I'm actually doing game capture. I'll have to look to see, I'm going to Google after the stream if it's better to do game capture or display capture for specifically Shad PS4. I've been using game capture because I just wanted to capture the game. Display capture, obviously, basically captures the entire mod, or the entire monitor. So whatever's being displayed, so you're more likely to show maybe a file that you don't want to show, or personal information, and so game capture is nice because it literally only captures the game. You don't have to look, you don't have to worry about that. Also, as I understand, I need ReShade program to use your preset file. Yes. Yeah, because basically the preset is just a preset. It does nothing on its own. It relies, you have to install ReShade. ReShade is the program that facilitates it. But no, I mean, it definitely, you should not have any more crashing without having ReShade installed. If anything, you could have less because ReShade is not running at all if you haven't installed it. You just will have no anti-aliasing, which will look terrible. Depending on how sensitive you are to anti-aliasing. If you're running it at 1440p, obviously the not having anti-aliasing is not going to be as like severe than if you were running it at the base 1080p resolution. You will very much notice that there's no anti-aliasing in my mod because I disable the in-game anti-aliasing because it's awful. It's terrible anti-aliasing. It's so bad. All we really need, like if FromSoft did get control of Bloodborne again, and it's clear that they want to do a PC port, the only thing it needs, it could be the most bare bones PC port of all time. Well, not of all time, because that's Prepare to Die edition, and that sucked ass. And was fixed by modders. But basically, up to 4K resolution, that's it. Do I need ultra wide and all that bullshit? Well, that's extra stuff if they want to do it, but I don't expect FromSoft to do that. I think they'll do up to 60 FPS, which for me, for a Souls game, is perfectly fine. I don't need any higher than 60 FPS, but I understand some people would like that. Does it have to be in window mode? Oh, are you also recording it on OBS? Huh. I I just run it in full screen mode. I think I have it on borderless on the Shad PS4 settings. At least for me. My mod doesn't really that would be down to the emulator itself versus anything because my mod obviously has nothing to do with how Bloodborne displays full screen or that's all emulator based. But I just have it run full screen borderless, and then I have it set to mailbox VSync because when you hover over it, it says that that's the lowest input latency version. So at least that's what it says. So I just use that. Oh, I meant mailbox. Let me hit close on that. Well, anyway, I'm gonna go pee, and then I'll be back. Yeah, the sky looks sick. It's so cool. tried streaming it earlier to show a friend of mine. Oh, okay. Hey, I was just watching a Bonfire VN video. I don't know if it was just depth of field bit, but his Bloodborne looked really nice. I'll have to check that out. That'd be pretty cool if it was using my mod. That would be quite the honor. I did notice, I was actually reading an article from somewhere. I can't remember what website. But they were talking about the news for, like, the Bloodborne related stuff of, like, From Software saying no or whatever. And they had a screenshot portion, and it was actually using, my mod. I was like, oh, nice. It didn't mention my mod, like, in the story, but I was like, oh, which, like, whatever, who cares? That was awesome. Now, interesting that it was actually using the older version of it before I restored everything back to the original art direction, right? I found that kind of interesting. I was like, I would prefer you show the screenshots from the most recent version of it, not the artistic changes I made. You bastards! Let me kill her. Oh yeah, they're tweaking. They're having a Mako freak out. Nope. Later, nerds. Oh, that might be a sick ass. Oh, I didn't mean to close the doors. Sorry, guys. Oh. Nope. Open it back up. Nice. I need blood vials. Give me blood vials. Don't give me that shit. Oh, alright, I'll go in here. I love how they spawn out of nothing. It's cool. Kind of freaky, frankly. I gotta look at the player lighting in Yarhar Ghoul, because after I kill this guy out, there's a good example of something I still do in the mod. As you can tell, the enemies and me in this indoor section, do you notice how we are artificially lit? As if we're still almost like outdoors. You can see this like white light that's hitting me. I guess you could call it the hero lighting, but they actually have a very specific setup in the G-params for how they handle the enemy and player lighting and objects. It's all under the same identification number. And so that is a difference I make. I have not done that for Yarhar Ghoul for the most recent version of the mod. I need to, because you can see how they're artificially lit, and it doesn't really blend into the environment at all, and that's why I make that change, because now admittedly I understand people could still get mad about that, of like, oh, well, you're going against what they did, but I don't know, I just think it looks weird. There have been instances where it seems clear to me that FromSoft actually did not intend for you and the enemies to be lit like they're outside, where a lot of times they did have it set up to switch to an interior lighting version for the player and enemies, where it did blend in better. So it's been my thing to sort of switch to where interior you're lit separately, to where it looks like the environment, which sounds, like a no-brainer, but that's definitely one thing I've been doing. Because like you'll notice how the player lighting didn't change as I went outdoors. It seems as though they didn't. Yeah, like you just look artificially lit by nothing. Which I think from like Specular it makes sense, but I don't know. It just, they stand out like sore thumbs to me. I don't know. I don't like it. So I could take shit for that, but I feel pretty okay about that, where I don't think, I can't imagine that many people are going to complain about that. I hate that my player blends in with the environment. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe. Alright, let's go kill these ladies. Maybe we skip them. Oh, okay. Still following me. Luis. Oh shit. Okay, I ran out of stamina. Going. Yeah, you'll notice in here it did switch to a different lighting ID. Although, admittedly, it now is like too dark. But see, that's how the interior lighting is supposed to happen. Where basically you go indoors and it switches to a different lighting ID. But in that other room, that's not happening. So that's what I look for, is why is that not happening? And also because I'm switching to a largely, if not mostly, dynamic lighting. But like interiors, I'm still using baked lighting every time I can, because it doesn't make sense to get rid of the baked lighting or the baked shadows even indoors. Like that, I maintain, because there's no reason to get rid of that. But yeah, even in here, you can see that the enemies stand out with the fog. They don't even blend in correctly. Which, you know, there's a bit of a debate as to, is that the 100% the intention? I personally think it looks kind of weird. Like, look how that guy in the wheelchair, look how he stands out. And, like, it's like a sore thumb. Like, it's just not blending the fog correctly. And also the player is actually too dark in here. That's actually the issue. It's not, well, actually, yeah, this isn't so much a fog issue as it is that the player is weirdly only receiving light from the player lantern, but the actual, like, diffuse levels are set to, like, 0. And they're actually set less than the environment itself, which is weird. That should never be the case. If anything, you would want the enemies and the player to be lit just a little bit more than everything else. They tended to go much higher than that. But here you can see that there's clearly an issue. This looks kind of goofy. So easily fixed, though. I can go and look at what ID is used. I can then, I can also switch to a different ID if I had to. But that I can balance out. Because I think right now the player is lit at the front, which is fine. But then you're too dark at the back. You never want the player to look like this, where it's just completely... Now, of course, I should add that it also could be my fuck up at some point. There may have been a lighting ID I switched, or on a collision or something, I don't know, but those are sort of the methodology behind tweaking the lighting. Ooh, ooh, oh yeah, there's some stutters going on here, and I don't 100% know what they are. They might be compiling some shader for something that's happening somewhere. I don't know. I always get lost in here. Also, Yarhar Ghul, yeah, this is stuttering pretty badly. Oh yeah, we need to go up here. Yes, I tend to get lost in here, but there's gonna be the dumbass laser beam guy. Oh, Bloodstone Chunk. The laser beam gets me. Dude, look how cool that looks. Oh my god. Like, what a badass. But oh fuck. Okay. Yeah, laser guy gets me. Fucking shit in the taint. Oh, see, yep. Whoo, man. Well, so that is part of the problem, is that I am streaming this game on the same PC that I am playing it. Obviously, a lot of people have, like, a stream PC. So that way the cost of streaming is offloaded to that. And I don't have that, let me tell you. And mine generally handles it pretty decently, I think, but... Damn, I still haven't gotten to the second lamp? Okay, let's see if I... And I didn't even get the elevator shortcut. What's up, big dog? Ow. Ow. Yeah, and here the lighting looks decent. They're still lit too much, though. They're lit from the side there a little bit. Yoink. Yoink. Alright, later, nerds. Gots to go. The light shafts look nice in Yarhargul. Damn, that is actually pretty quick to get back here. Yeah, there's a fairly persistent stutter that's happening, unfortunately, which is not helping me at all. Oh, look at that. Got him. Oh, you can actually see that the lamp showed up as I jumped in the room. Ooh! 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 I know you. Yeah, thankfully FromSoft eased up on the loot goblins, how fast they disappear. Because it's only Demon Souls, the original, where they disappear so fucking fast. Oh yeah, the stuttering is really bad. This usually happens after I use the emulator for a certain amount of time. There just happens to be more stutters, but it is also that I'm streaming it. That is just not... I'm not being very nice to my processor right now. Let's put it that way. I'm being very mean to my processor. I also haven't upscaled all of the textures for Yarhargul. Not that I am going to upscale all of them, but I've done some of them. I think I've done this floor surface. I've definitely done a new shininess map and texture for this floor surface, which I think actually looks pretty good. I think you get a good amount of detail out of that. Oh, this is the funniest part of Yarhargul, is that FromSoft didn't know what to do with this one spot, so they put this building that literally is like this one tiny section, and then they just stretched it. And it repeats all the way down there. And it looks goofy as fuck. It's so funny. Like, what the fuck is going on? Look at this giant building that they just stretched. Now, they did add a little blemish here to kind of break it up, but it's largely just yoink, a gigantic long building. Yeah, long building isn't real. It can't hurt you. But, like, that's the funny thing about Yarhargul, is that if you look in the distance, there's some pretty shitty looking buildings. Like, this building out here looks like shit. A lot of it is really low quality. You can actually see that there's a hole over here in the distant buildings of Yarhargul that I meant to try to cover up or something. I do think my shininess map, I gotta look at this because I don't think that looks particularly good, but it's funny. Yarhargul in the distance, it doesn't look that great. There's quite a few spots of like, but a lot of that, I admit that, like, I notice things that other people don't, not like as in a talent thing, just as I'm looking at the game for so long that, you know, that's just kind of bound to happen, right? If I remember correctly, that item drop isn't worth it. Oh god, the stuttering is so bad. It's so bad. What's the broken lamp? I don't know what the lore is exactly behind that, but presumably something. Oh, that's from the other side. And then here's where we have the fucking trio to end all trios. I don't even care about y'all. Later, nerds. There's definitely a lot more to explore here as far as like bloodstone chunks, right? Hell, I didn't even come to this area way earlier where I could have gotten like loot. It is good to get that item set. Advanced knowledge. Advanced knowledge. Well, okay. I guess I'll kill you if you're gonna come all the way here and not have your little fucking blowjob brothers or whatever. Yeah, your friends didn't come with you. That's a shame, big dog. It's kind of embarrassing for you, frankly. Okay, we fucking traded, but I ate those hits like a fucking boss, okay? Also, drop your shit. Yeah, give me your claw mark. Oh god, they're spitting. They're spitting. They're spitting. And it's not the good kind of spitting, it's the bad kind of spitting. Okay. Alright. Hey. And then here's the fucked up... Okay, well, I'm gonna kill you. God damn it. I just want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight your fucking... Ooh, that was a good amount of Blood vials. This guy always creeped me out because he's got like a foot coming out of his ass. And I think that's interesting. Like he's got just a straight up leg coming out of that asshole. It's wild. Yeah, the player lighting is a little goofy in this. Oh, okay, you're not going to drop anything. There's another guy. Y'all see that little strafe there? That was pretty. That was a pro strafe. We can be open and honest. That was a pretty clutch strafe. You know, if you dropped a chunk, I'd like you a lot more. But yet, there was a good gem right behind you, so I take it back. What's up, guys? Don't mind me. I'm just racing to the one Reborn, which is not my favorite boss fight. If anything, it's one of my... It's probably one of my least favorite of the game, because I just don't think it's that interesting of a boss. I think it's like a slight Tower Knight callback, but just not a terribly fun one. It's like a weird hybrid of like a Tower Knight callback or an homage to Tower Knight with the ladies up there. And then, oh, this whole time I've had the Be Back Soon on. I'm an idiot. I'm fucking... How did nobody say anything? Damn it! I know, I just shifted blame to the chat. Damn. Fuck. Damn. Man, this shit's just nasty. They made this boss out of just a shit pile and a bunch of wood, and they just went to Home Depot and they just fucking nailed this guy together. Because that's what he is. He's just a big barf of extra Home Depot bullshit. Like, just some nasty shit. This boss is nasty. I need to edit the texture, because I think there's a little bit low on Specular. Well, actually, that's pretty good. I mean, it's one hell of a design, but it's like the Duke's Dear Freya. It's a little bit of that / Tower Knight callback. Oh, I forgot that I was tabbed out, apparently. Alright. Well, let's go kill the ladies. Oh, we don't go that way. Nope, we don't go that way. But we do go this way. I forgot that he attacks you up here. I forgot about that. Oh, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, why does this lady get the red shit? What's her deal? I don't remember that. Oop. Ah, okay, fucking Quicksilver. I don't need Quicksilver. Not for the one Reborn. I don't even know how you parry this thing. This nasty ass motherfucking... They even have like the little gaps where they can fall off, which is just like in Demon Souls. Like, obviously, an homage to Tower Knight. Which the funny thing is, I didn't really recognize that until way later. Like, years later, I was like, oh shit, that is a Tower Knight callback. Oh fuck. Good for them. Good for them. Good for Tower Knight, you know? Does he deserve it? Yeah, I think Tower Knight's actually pretty cool. I love watching people try to figure out Tower Knight. Also, the benefit of dynamic lighting is that you can actually see as the one Reborn moves around. Hey, who's shooting fireballs? Did I really forget one of the ladies? Oh, they're whispering in my ears. I think I forgot one of the ladies up here. Oh god, the stuttering is like really bad. Oh god, oh, we might be entering persistent low frame rate. Oh, this is bad. Oh, no, we're back. Okay, they're just barfing on me. They're just taking a dookie out. Hey, who shot the fireball? I thought it was a lady who shot the fireball, right? Am I crazy? Or was that like... Or was that a late fireball? Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay. I felt like it came from up there, but alright. Hey, what's up, big dog? Let me get to your other side, okay, big dog? Oh, I guess they just shoot fireballs from the guy up high. Can't let him barf on me. I don't know if he was open for a stagger there or what, but I'm assuming so. Okay, nope, this side's still... Okay, I'll just go to the other side, man. I just never found this fight terribly fun, you know? Like, it's weird and it's nasty, but... I just don't think it's, like, anything to write home about. Well, okay, he's kind of being weird here, where... He's not really... Hey! Oh, okay, now he switched sides. Yeah, who's... I think there's a lady stuck in Geo somewhere. There's someone still shooting fireballs. Okay, now he's switching sides correctly. Oh, I passed her because of stutter again? Oh, there she is. Shit, you're so right. Hold on. Yeah, let me go get that lady. She's kind of pissing me off. I mean, I'm doing pretty good regardless. But... Yeah, it was the stutter. That's crazy. Yeah, I missed her. Okay. Nice. I wasn't crazy. Yeah, I gotta tweak the lighting for this level. It's looking a little funky. I mean, good, but like... So I just gotta remember to move a little bit. You would assume this means it's open for a stagger. Yeah, it must be on the other side. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just gonna... Yeah, I just don't think this makes for like a terribly engaging fight, honestly. Okay, you're gonna be a bit... Oh shit. I forgot about the super jizz blast. I do like that there's that little guy up there who's just doing shit. He's just doing shit. Good for him. Ooh. Ooh. Oh shit, there's fucking pooped up did a whole like puke lake. That's nasty. Oh, no, switch sides again. Okay. Alright, do your bullshit. Do your bullshit. Oh shit, okay, I got hit by a fucking foot. Nope, switch sides again. Shit, I need to go quicker. Nice! Well, we succeeded at something in this stream. That's the key. We did something. I'd like to at least beat one boss. Ludwig, oh yeah, look at this texture. Oof. That's the Bloodborne texture quality I know. Occasionally there will just be very, very low resolution. It's definitely hit or miss, where most is fine. But occasionally there's some that's like, eeh, nasty. Alright. Bonus. Look at that, I got 40 insight. I don't have anything good to buy with the insight. Oh, I haven't seen the Canehurst Queen yet. I forgot to go up to the Big Daddy log of Castle Bratwurst. I haven't done that to get the cutscene. Okay. And I do have a Frenzied Cold Blood. Fuck yeah.
Welcome, what it...
Oh, I haven't leveled up this whole episode. I've literally, I wonder how many echoes I've shit away in this episode. Probably a lot. Probably a lot. I've been better this time of getting late in the game and not having over 30 vitality yet. I've been happy with that, because I usually stuff that or stack that. Yeah, this area... Yes, you would be correct. The fishing hamlet looks a lot better. And the average like material quality in the fishing hamlet is seemingly higher. And at least from me looking at it and playing with it, yeah. Yarhargul is not one of the best looking areas. I think the skybox is great. I think the light shafts. Of course, there's different versions. There's like the darker version prior to ROM, right? But yeah, if you look off in the distance in Yarhargul, there's a lot of like nasty looking shit, and not in the good way. But I think most of the other areas for Bloodborne look amazing. But Yarhargul has some just don't look in the distance too much. I don't think it looks that good. There's some nasty models out there. I'll probably go a little bit of skill, a little bit of endurance, a little bit of health. I'll do an even couple 3 levels. Or couple 3 levels. I literally cannot talk today, I swear to God. Getting high last night had its downsides, let me tell you. Holy shit, they sell this for... You can sell this for 24 hundo? What the fuck? Oh no, I was buying. Oh fuck my goat chungus ass life. Shit. Oh, damn it, I just totally wasted that money. Fuck. God damn it. Yeah, I'm on the struggle bus today, I'll tell you. Yeah, I don't care about this ritual blood shit. Do I have anything in here I really don't care about? Yeah, the student uniform and shit. Like, that stuff sells for a lot, and boy, I don't care about that shit at all. Let me tell you. Ooh, yeah, let me go check out my blood stone thing. I can't say words, don't worry about it. Blood gem, god damn it. Ooh, check that out. 114? Fuck yeah. 119? Oh, we are more powerful now. So that does bolt attack, which I don't care about, of course. Fuck yeah. Oh, the amygdala area? Yes. Yeah. Luckily, I have been upscaling stuff around there. The Nightmare Frontier should look pretty good right now in the mod, the most recent version. I have more to do there, but last time I was there a couple days ago, I upscaled a lot of the textures, did some parallax occlusion mapping, and there are certain things that weren't set to be shadow casting that I had missed. So it got a bit of an upgrade recently. But yes, there's by default there's areas in this game where the texture quality just nosedives in certain spots, which is obviously a large part of the mod is to kind of fix that. That's the easy win for me, where most anybody won't complain about that, where they go, oh, that's nice, that's just higher resolution now. And upscaling's not perfect, but I try to do it in a way that, because I only ever do a 2x upscale. I don't fuck with the 4 times upscaling. That's too far. That shit doesn't look good. You're pulling it too far from the original texture. It just doesn't. It's trying to create detail where there's not detail, and it's making too many assumptions. So a 2x upscale is ideal. And so the average texture quality for Bloodborne with my mod will, if you can say that, as is the case with most of their games, the average albedo texture resolution for a certain surface would be usually 1K resolution. I would say like 60% or more hover around that 1K resolution on a lot of surfaces. Certain ones are not square based, so sometimes it'll be 2048 by 1024. or something like that, or 512 by 1024, depending on the actual like layout of it or orientation. But most of these square base just for to make it easier. And so mine would upscale it to 2K resolution, which is 2048 by 2048. Now, there are surfaces by default that are 2048 by 2048 to start with, and they do go up to 4K in my mod if I decide to upscale them. Some of them just don't need it because they're already high enough resolution. But that's usually the methodology I have, and I think you get really good results that are not too far, and I think at a glance, I try hard to make it to where they don't look like shit. I realized this phenomenon first when I was playing The Witcher. The starting area felt like low graphics, but then you go to Novigrad. Yes. Yeah, I mean, and I guess that is just the case with game development itself, where game development's hard, you know? Like, actually, Resident Evil Requiem is an interesting example, where I think that game is easily one of the greatest looking games ever thus far. Like, it's an amazing looking game. It's not without visual issues, but largely I think it looks amazing. But one pretty large blemish on RE Requiem is the texture resolution. There's a lot of surfaces in that game that are actually pretty low res. Weirdly, I don't really know why, but if you like on a lot of the close-ups or you just look at surfaces, there's a lot of them in that game that are pretty blurry. It's interesting. But that doesn't really take away from it being as amazing as it looks, because it does. Like, yeah, especially if you do the full like path tracing. Jesus Christ. It's nice to see Capcom super lean in to path tracing. Where their original like RT implementation in Village, I don't think was very good. It's pretty boring. And so it's really cool to see them just go kind of like balls to the wall. They do have some denoising issues, though. I don't think the path tracing, of course, suffers from that, but the RT, when you use the RT feature set before path tracing, the denoiser that they use is pretty bad. So hopefully they can patch that maybe to help it out. But yeah, I think it's awesome. It's also just a great game. I've been watching a lot of playthroughs. I haven't finished any particular playthrough because I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I am invested in the story. That's the interesting thing about Resident Evil for me, is that I've never played one of them because I'm not a big horror gamer. It's not my thing, but I actually really do enjoy the storytelling. And as stupid as it is and like over the top and campy, I actually just really like, because anything can happen in a Resident Evil story. There's no real like realism limitation. Like, you can have cloning. Hell, they could be a fucking alien. Who cares? Like, the game, it doesn't take itself that seriously to, you'll, like in that one hospital level, you have all the different enemies grabbing the chainsaw, and then they die, and then they grab another chainsaw, and then... Yeah, it doesn't do... I mean, specifically open world for the RE engine just has never gone well. Monster Hunter Wilds and then Dragon's Dogma 2 are your two examples to look at where it just doesn't do well. It's just that's not its thing. But as for like the enclosed more like wide linear design, amazing. Yeah, yes. Yeah, also not even talking about just open world, but like exterior versus interior. Yes. The engine loves interiors. Like that is just its showpiece is because yeah, a lot of those interiors in Requiem, especially with the path tracing, it starts to look real. But what I love about the RE engine, and specifically how they use it with Resident Evil, is that it's still stylized. You can tell that it's an RE engine game. And luckily I don't mean that as a negative, but you can tell that it is an RE engine game with the way that they shade their surfaces and like how they handle specular and all that kind of stuff. You can tell, and so it has this really really satisfying, realistic, good look to it, but it also doesn't come off as like purely realism. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but there's a very satisfying look to it. Because I think Village looked amazing. I think RE4 Remake looked amazing. RE3 Remake, amazing. RE2 Remake, amazing. I think they all look amazing. It's the most consistently good looking series. Well, post remake. I think 5 and 6, that's pre RE engine, so I'd assume that's the MT framework back then. But I generally feel like the RE2 remake has better overall graphics. Yeah, I think RE2's levels and the atmosphere and all of that, I do think fits the engine better than RE4. I also think RE4 didn't need a remake. Hot take. I don't think that's really a hot take actually. That game was already like third person, like obviously it was GameCube, right? But I don't know. I don't think it needed a remake nearly as badly. I think it was actually fine as is. Um, and like 2 and 3 made a lot of sense because, well, yeah, go look back at the original. Like, it's a gigantic leap. It's PS1. Um, yeah, like RE4 is fantastic for what it was and is. Like, I just don't think it really needed a remake. 2, that makes total sense. 3, yes. Now we get to an interesting topic, which is RE1, where it seems that that's in the works because obviously it's already been remade. And I would argue it's already one of the best remakes of all time. I mean, that's why we call it RE make. It's the ideal version of a remake where it's the original creator, the original director, Shinji Mikami coming back, and they do it on GameCube, and it looks insane. Of course, it's because it has pre-rendered background slash dynamic lighting, and I think it, and then the character models, because they were doing like the pre-rendered backgrounds, I think the character models in RE Make are amazing. They are really high quality. Like when they zoom in on Jill or whatever the fuck his name is, Carl, Fred, I don't, Barry, they're really good still. Like they honestly, I mean, but that's also because that's where they could spend the polygon budget, right? But it looks so good. And there have been people, it's been interesting because they're like, yeah, I would love an RE1 full on, like, modern remake where they get rid of the tank controls, they get rid of the fixed camera angles. And part of me is like, well, then it's not RE1 anymore. But I still think, well, as long as you have the other versions of it available to play and you never delist them, then like who cares? Like go ahead, go make a modern version of RE1 in the style of RE2 remake, right? Just give people another option of how to play it. And that's actually pretty cool. And you could, and I think what's interesting is that now that RE Engine is so incredibly good that it can beat the pre-rendered backgrounds of the older games when they were pre-rendering them at really high quality, right? You actually have the engine looking so good that it can in real time surpass that. And so you could, man, I hope they have the best team working on it because they could lovingly recreate those pre-rendered backgrounds. And if you perfectly recreate those pre-rendered backgrounds, that would be amazing. And then allow you to move the camera any way that you want. I actually think that could be a viable like addition to the formula. But of course, you're never going to take away from what's special of the RE1 remake. But anywho, I'm going to end the stream. I ended up streaming a little bit longer. I'll be back on Friday, barring some sort of, you know, something coming up. But yeah, I plan on 2 p.m. Central Standard Time as per usual on Friday. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope your Wednesday will either get better if you're already having a bad Wednesday or continue going well if it's already going well. But thank you for tuning in, and yeah, I'll see you on Friday. It's been cool chatting with y'all as per usual, and